meeting between Duke and NC State. There will be some fans in the stands as they renew this rivalry. They haven't played since 2013. It's Duke and NC State. Carter-Finley Stadium in Raleigh for ACC football on a Saturday afternoon. And this presentation of ACC football is presented by your local Ford dealer. And it is so great to have you with us for our game this afternoon in sunny conditions here in Raleigh. Tom Wormy along with James Bates on the other side of the protective glass.
Stay over there.
And we will hear from Lindsay Raleigh down on the sidelines in just a moment. We have a great game for you. NC State, couple of fantastic road wins in conference play, and Duke got their first win of the season last week against Syracuse at the Dome. So these two teams, James, are playing some top-notch football.
Yeah, they're on a collision course. You know, they haven't played in a long time, which is really weird to think of that just a few miles apart. As the Duke Blue Devils come running out, you know, it's Coach David Cutcliffe who said, we made a promise to each other to be more physical last week, and it certainly showed on the field. But I thought, where have I heard that before? Well, it was right here in Raleigh just a few weeks prior. Dave Doran made his team make a promise, and after that Virginia Tech embarrassment, they have been very physical. But let's talk about Duke first, and how about the Deion Jackson and Mateo Durant show? Deion Jackson and Mateo Durant both over 150 yards rushing, two outstanding backs, but they couldn't do it without the guys up front. Devery Hamilton, the lone senior on a young offensive line over on that right side. They just blew Syracuse off the ball all day long. They had to take care of that football. They had to hold on to that football and give their defense a little bit of a breath. They did just that, but they got to watch the turnovers, and I don't expect them to have numbers like this here again today against a tough NC State defense, but they're going to need some good running game.
You made a good point. They overcame those 3 fumbles in the game against Syracuse and ran for 363 yards as a team. NC State takes the field for its second home game. They beat Wake to start the season. How will the defense for the Pack stop Duke today? For more on that, down to Lindsay Raleigh on the sidelines.
Thanks, Tom. That's right. Standing in the way of Duke's rushing is NC State's Aleem McNeil. I got a chance to speak with Aleem earlier this week, and he said that he knows Duke is not a team that you can sleep on, and he will be ready here today to stop their running game. He also joked with me a little bit, saying that he wouldn't mind having a similar performance to the one that he had last week against Virginia, where he picked up his first career interception and his first career touchdown. In fact, Aleem told me that his dad actually predicted the touchdown, telling him he had a good feeling that day that he was going to put 6 up on the board. And then at halftime, Aleem told Coach Gibson that he was going to get a pick 6. Sure enough, in the fourth quarter, number 29 got it done. Now, I don't know if Aleem's going to be able to get another pick 6 here today, but he will definitely play a huge role in the Wolfpack's defensive effort. Guys?
Lindsay, what a prediction by McNeil. 18 yards rumbling to the end zone after he deflected the ball and then picked it off and ran it in. We mentioned this is the 83rd all-time meeting between the teams, but they haven't played since 2013, and that was in Raleigh, and a win for Duke. Correction, that was in Durham, and a win for Duke 38-20. And then they last played here, James, in 09, and Duke won 49-28. So they're only about 20 miles apart from stadium to stadium, but they haven't played since 2013, and they'll do it again today.
Look at Coach David Cutcliffe bringing his guys over the short distance. He went with the face shield here today rather than the face mask or the chin diaper. But, you know, it's hard to believe. You look at the divisions, and that's the way it works out. But it's hard to believe that guys will come through and play at Duke for 4 years or NC State for 4 years and never see this other team. So it's good to see them get together here today.
Across the way, the head coach for NC State in his 8th season. It is 48-year-old Dave Doran. He's got 50 total wins, as you see. That's 3rd most in school history. And he was the head coach in that 2013 game against Duke and David Cutcliffe. And that was a big victory for the Blue Devils. In fact, when they won in 09, they rolled to victory, and they will utilize that same uniform scheme as they received the opening kickoff from NC State, which won the toss and elected to defer. So NC State will kick it away to get this game started. Duke coming off its win at the Dome, where they rolled up over 600 yards of total offense. NC State coming off the win at Virginia, 38-21. They had 363 yards of total offense. Very balanced between pass and rush for the Wolfpack. Trenton Gill will kick it away. About 60 degrees, light breezes here in Raleigh at Carter-Finley Stadium. Stinson a yard deep on the return to the 20 and diving across the 20-yard line out to the 21. Stinson on the return for Duke.
So there he is, the Clemson transfer. We saw Trevor Lawrence, the guy he backed up for a couple years over there in Clemson, South Carolina, light it up against Georgia Tech today. And boy, he'd like to put half those numbers up here today. Made a step forward in that game last week, but he has got to take care of this football. Way too many turnovers, 19 for this offense. That leads the nation, and that's not a good thing.
First down, Deion Jackson was the back, and then Bryce sprinting out and taking that ball to the right side. Got to keep an eye on Jackson. Jackson and Durant will keep a defense honest, especially if you look at the tape from a week ago and what they were able to do as a combination for the first time ever in school history. Two backs for Duke in the same game going over 150 yards rushing, and they did it against the Orange. They'll slam this one into the line with Deion Jackson. Isaiah Moore makes the stop, number 1 for NC State in red. Time to take a look at your impact players, presented by your local Toyota dealer. Here's James Bates.
Well, Will Taylor, the center on that offensive line, they had such a good day in Syracuse last weekend. And of course, Lindsey talked about McNeil off the top. He's got to be big right there in the middle of this 3-3-5 defense, especially in situations like this one right here. He doesn't just intercept balls and run for touchdowns. He's big time on run downs every single snap, it seems.
43% on third down for the season, 8th in the ACC for Duke. Needed to get up near that 31-yard line. Jackson on the carry. I think they're going to spot him, James, right at the 30, which would be short. Peyton Wilson, part of the play for NC State.
It's not a gimme by any stretch when you need a yard to go. Just ask Pitt. Just ask Virginia. 2 weeks in a row. Big goal line stands by this stingy defense. And there it is. Wilson, the linebacker, to wrap it up and shut it down. A 3-and-out after a 9-yard gain on first down. Good job to regroup by that defense.
Porter Wilson to punt for Duke. Watch it bounce near the 30-yard line, and that's where the Blue Devils will touch it, right near the 30. All right, time to take a look at our Hardy star to watch, and he will lead the offense onto the field for NC State. Devin Leary's in the middle of that huddle. 6'2", 212, a sophomore from Sicklerville, New Jersey, for the Wolfpack, James, as he brings them out for their first series.
Well, he was supposed to lead the Wolfpack into 2020, but the contact tracing had to sit down for a couple very important weeks, so he had to wait his turn. Bailey Hockman started a few games, but second half Virginia Tech, some mop-up duty, really tore it up. From then it's been the Leary show.
This is Jordan Houston on the ground for the Pack on that first carry. Ran into Leonard Johnson, number 33. Also number 42, Shaka Hayward in the vicinity. Looks like a little tempo now from the Pack. 4 receiver set for Leary, who threw for 184 yards a week ago and a couple of TD passes with 1 interception in the win at Virginia, 38-21 for NC State, 3-1 on the season. It'll be a run from Ricky Person Jr. Tried to break away and gain the 40, couldn't get there. Rocky Shelton, the second tackle for the Blue Devils. And they are running right up again, James.
Wow, right over that ball on a 3rd down and 2 now.
Across the 40-yard line up to the 42 for Ricky Person. First down, chains are moving, NC State.
Well, the tempo this first series anyway, and why not? It's been look at that offensive line, good punch. It's been a Duke defense that has been gassed visibly many times this season.
Leary to an open receiver. Thayer Thomas gobbles it up. First down again inside the 45 of Duke. Lummy Young had the tackle for the Blue Devils. Right back to the football for Leary. And, you know, getting that last third down conversion big for NC State. Just 3 of 13 in the game, despite the win at Virginia for NC State in third down situations. They are moving the ball effectively so far on this drive to start the game for them. Person. All right, James, let's look at the impact players presented by your local Toyota dealer here in this first quarter. Start with the guy up front there, Chris Rumpf.
Yeah, and Porter Rooks as well, the freshman. Boy, did he ever flash the last couple weeks, especially against Virginia, laying out, very athletic, just a young guy on a very talented receiving core. They went to him early. He had 3 catches for 51 yards, almost had what would have been the catch of the weekend. An overturned touchdown, would have been touchdown. And of course, you know all about Chris Rumpf and his buddies up front.
Trying to stretch this one out with Person, doesn't get very far, falls inside the 45-yard line, and they will mark him right at the 44. Derek Tangelo, number 8. You'll notice those single digits, James, on those Duke frontline players today.
I know they earned them. I guess the big guys kind of like McNeil for NC State, wearing that running back looking number of 29. They played hard, so they got their choice, and they all chose the single digits.
Ben Fry is not also kicking field goals, by the way, just wearing that number 3. He's normally 93 for the junior from Dublin, Ohio, on the front line for the Duke defense. They're in the white and blue. NC State, red and white. Leary to pass. Right near the 20-yard line. Defender and receiver got tangled up a little bit. That's Devin Carter for NC State, the intended target.
Well, it was good coverage, and it was a good throw as well. You're going to see Carter, there's a tight right there in the hip pocket, and Carter's going to send him right on by. And a good job maybe even to recover by Lewis to get back there and rake through those wrists and knock that ball down. But a nice throw, Leary putting it where only Carter could get it, hits the turf, and off the field goes this Duke defense.
Robertson, the deep man. Trenton Gill to punt. And that one's blocked by Duke. Bouncing back, scooped up. They're headed to the end zone. Special teams touchdown. Dorian Moussi takes it in for Duke on the block. Isaiah Fisher-Smith got a piece of it. Moussi takes it in for 6. I'll tell you, James, NC State was moving the ball effectively on special teams. They get the block, and they're on the board first.
Well, the Wolfpack, they had a block of their own in the win over Virginia last week, but they also missed a fake punt try by Virginia that was pulled off on them. Here's another blunder, and Duke taking advantage of it. Thought maybe at that situation it may be a punt safe, worried about faking it over the 50-yard line. That was the last thing on their minds. David Cutcliffe and company, they were charging hard. And if he doesn't get it, maybe another guy with a white hat does. That's huge.
So Ham for the extra point after the 32-yard return from Dorian Moussi. James, 6 on the board on the extra point for Duke.
Well, some guys will tell you, you block a punt in the game, there's a good chance you're going to win that game. A whole lot of football left to be played, but right now, advantage the guys from Durham.
ACC football is brought to you by Yellowwood brand pressure treated pine. If it doesn't have this yellow tag, you don't want it. Your local Ford dealer. And Z-Max Micro Lubricant, available at AutoZone.
A shocking turn of events here at Carter-Finley Stadium as the Wolfpack was moving the ball quite efficiently, and the fans who are here to witness it watch Duke on special teams with a block and return. And per state law, approximately 4,000 fans allowed into the stadium. And the student body as well, a small percentage. Still got the cardboard cutout thing working. See Bill Cower. Got some young fans in there as well. Somebody on a surfboard maybe too. Season ticket holders also part of this. And wow, James, what a way to start if you're the Blue Devils.
I'll say that's huge. Come over here, big rivalry game, and to get a punt block, get special teams involved early on.
Uzi with the return of 32 yards to get Duke on the board. Ricky Person Jr. There is a flag out on the return as he bashes his way up to the 35-yard line, but a flag came out early in the return by Person Jr. Gary Patterson is our referee today.
Personal foul, illegal blindside block, number 22, return team. Half the distance from the spot of the foul, first down.
And it came early on, too. And there it is. You used to see that just about every time on special teams. That's Max Fisher, the backup safety, costing his team right there. So back-to-back plays, special teams, costly for the Wolfpack. And the first one, of course, a whole lot more, ending up in 7 points. This one is going to back you way back from what would have been good field position.
So that's Knight who stumbles down. NC State's rushing attack was pretty good last week as well in its win against Virginia, as it is time for our keys to the game, brought to you by your local Ford dealer with James Bates.
All right, well, I got to go right back to it with Duke. Last week in Syracuse, it was get greedy, stay greedy, and they haven't done it yet, so it's greedy part Duke, if you will. They can't give up that football. NC State, make Tuffy proud. Get out there and play tough, physical football, which is one thing that's really stood out in the 2 road wins the last 2 weeks. Ball's out.
Scrap for the ball at the 15. Duke says it has it. They're celebrating. Knight was on the carry. Blue Devils have it. A block punt and a turnover. Leonard Johnson falls on it for the Blue Devils inside the red zone as they recover the fumble.
Wow. So you back up the block punt and the scoop and score for the touchdown with this. This was an issue, not for Duke last year, but for NC State in a big way, all the turnovers and going right after that rock. It looked like Dwayne Carter ripping it out. Johnson's going to fall on it. And 2 plays later, now Duke back in business with the offense back out there. And look at that first fumble loss this season. Big Bam Knight, he holds on to that rock. But getting greedy, just like they were asked right there. That Duke defense putting it in the hands of the offense.
Jackson. There is no gain on the rush from Deion Jackson, the senior from Atlanta, Georgia. Jackson a week ago, what a day for him as he ran into Terrell Dawkins. Jackson had 169 yards rushing for his career high. Duke into the CPI security red zone, looking for the end zone, and just off the fingertips of Noah Gray.
Leading receiver, and there was nobody. You want to see what quarantine looks like, kids? This is more than 6 feet apart, which is really safe. I mean, nice play action pass. There's your top receiver. A little high and hard. Maybe could have, should have been caught, but still, at the same time, there's nobody around and nobody's in your face. Chase Bryce, give him a ball that's just easy to walk on into the end zone. Instead, it's 3rd down and 10.
Bryce steps up and throws, and it's intercepted. Peyton Wilson, now the ball's on the turf at the 11. And NC State maintains possession after the interception by Peyton Wilson. And how about that sideline celebration from number 11?
He wants that bone. Give me that turnover bone. Wow. Coach Cutt talking it over with Chase Bryce. A bad touch pass, what could have, should have been, and this one he tries to force it in, but number 11 says, Peyton Wilson turns it right around. Wolfpack football, and they're fired up right now, looking for that turnover ball.
ACC football is brought to you by CPI Security. NC State just came up with a huge play. Peyton Wilson with the interception as we check in with Lindsay.
That's right, guys. Peyton Wilson with the big interception as he sprinted over to the sideline. I don't know if you guys saw him, sprinted for the turnover bone. The turnover bone was introduced by the coaching staff this week. Coach Tony Gibson says he wants dogs on his defense. And now, whenever a Wolfpack defender recovers a fumble or intercepts a pass, they get over to the turnover bone as quickly as possible, like we saw. Guys, back to you.
Hungry for that bone, Lindsay. That's a red bone. That's a nice big bone over there. Having
Still
fun
some
with
meat on that bone, James. Come on.
So if you get a turnover, you get to sign it. At the end of the year, whoever has signed it the most times gets to keep it.
We got to sneak down and sign that thing, James, so we can take it home. The bone on the sideline. Second career interception for Wilson, and that's stopped. Duke, which had recovered in the red zone. Now this is Ricky Person breaking away. Trying to get to midfield, and he gets shoved out of bounds by Shaka Hayward. Downshifting Ricky Person, 34 yards on the carry.
Wow, second time here early today. Looked like Person was going to be dropped for a loss. Runs, just changes the angle on a couple guys. Runs right through him, 34 yards, right up to midfield. Good looking run. And Duke usually pretty sure with those angles up front, they get burnt by number 8.
Leary with the time. Sturdy pocket for the moment. Got it away at the last second. At the 42-yard line to Emeka Emezi, who went up to grab it.
Larry showing his toughness here. This is a very good physical front, and the pressure's going to come. Larry knows he's going to take a shot. There you won't see it, but there's the physical. Emeka Emezi as well, the senior, getting some space. Nice route and nice timing. Come back and get it.
Second and short. Leary's pass too high for the intended receiver. Dylan Parham looking for number 28 with just inside of 7 minutes to go in this quarter. James, the turnovers again plaguing Duke. It has started early in this game. 20 turnovers on the season for the Blue Devils.
Yeah, more than anybody in college football, and that's Dwayne Carter, who actually forced the ball out of Bam Knight's hands just moments ago, so hopefully he's okay. We'll try to check on it for you when we come back.
ACC football is brought to you by the Works Landroid Robotic Lawnmower, available at winnerlandroid.com. Your local Sherwin-Williams paint store. Painting questions? Ask Sherwin-Williams. And Toyota. Visit your local Toyota dealers today.
So Dwayne Carter was escorted to the sidelines. He's being attended to right now. He was the player down in the previous play for the Blue Devils. We have the 7-0 lead on a blocked punt return by Dorian Mausi. 32 yards on that play, and that's our scoring so far.
And these two teams need to get together a little bit more if it's always going to be loco like this. It's been crazy early on, and here on this drive, it's been the 4 plays. And
we've had a fumble recovery by Duke, an interception by NC State, a block punt return for a touchdown, and now NC State on the move.
Another
Third and short. Yeah, exactly, James. Will they get this one? I don't know. It's going to be close. Maybe driven back a yard. There is officially no gain on the play from Zonovan Knight. Tangelo in there.
Tangelo had a big game against Syracuse last weekend. Offense is back out there, 4th and 1.
So they're going to move it to the right on a direct snap to Houston. He turns the corner and gets to the 35-yard line. There is a penalty marker, though, and it is against NC State.
15-yard penalty. Repeat, 4th down.
Wow, that's a crusher. Bam Knight with a great big block. The face mask is the call. And it's the direct snap to Houston. They use him in a lot of different ways. Watch Bam They're on the edge, and a good job blocking out by Emeka Emezi, but all for naught as they'll back it up. Would have been a fresh set of downs and perhaps the first points of this game for NC State instead. They'll try to punt it away. Let's see if they short up that blocking scheme, because it was every man for himself coming through there.
Fair catch made by John Tavis Robertson. Okay, first, before we proceed, a message from Bojangles.
Feed the whole family with a big Bo box. It's Bo time.
As we proceed to give you what you need, I could use some Bojangles right now.
What happened to the sun? All of a sudden, it's behind those big white cotton candy clouds here in Raleigh, North Carolina. So great to be with James Bates and Lindsay Raleigh and our outstanding ACC college football production crew with you from Carter-Finley Stadium. Durant is the back. He'll get his number called and then slammed to the turf. There is no gain, James, as Tanner Ingle made the stop.
Well, Aleem McNeil, the penetration right there in the middle. See him knife through. He's not going to get credited for the tackle right there, but he sure should. Just amazing. Just such a quick step. Lindsey talking about how important he was off the top. It's plays like that that don't even show up in the box score.
2nd and 10 for Chase Bryce, and that one too high for the receiver on the far side. There's a flag as he was looking for Dennis Smith.
Going against Battle, the freshman.
Pass interference. Defense, number 25. Automatic first down. They spotted the foul.
You got to trust it, and he's got him over on that sideline. This ball's thrown too high and too hard. He wouldn't have been able to catch it. Gosh, you got to be careful. Interception and a tackle for loss by Battle last week, helping out his defense there. He hurts him. The penalties hurting NC State here so far today.
Duke comes into today 1-4 on the season, 1-1 away from Durham. Bryce puts a lot of air under this one. His receiver cannot get there. Jake Bobo, the junior from Belmont, Massachusetts, trying to run under that one. Malik Dunlap back in coverage for NC State on the incompletion from Bryce.
You don't have a lot of burners on this Duke offense. A lot of guys that you're just scared to death they're going to run by you, and you got to scheme for them, and you got to watch out for them all the time. But you still have to make them fear. You still have to let defenses think that you can go there and keep them honest. 2nd down and 10.
That pass complete. Calhoun got away from the first man and the second man. And now gets ridden out of bounds near the 40-yard line into that NC State bench area. Jalen Calhoun, who had a TD grab last week to open the scoring against Syracuse. A win for Duke on the road, 38-24.
Calhoun showing off his skills with the ball in his hand. He was a wishbone quarterback in high school. Everybody actually recruited him, wanting him as a running back. Came to Duke as a receiver.
There's the 2nd completion of the game for Chase Bryce as he hits Calhoun again. The previous play was 12 yards. This one will be 4, and Drake Thomas had the tackle for the Wolfpack.
Thomas makes sure he wraps up on this one after Calhoun on the other side of the field ran a few tackles, threw a few tackles. Still a nice gain on first.
Into the line goes Mateo Durant, the junior. Durant, who ran for 163 yards and 2 touchdowns, and that rushing total was a career high for Mateo Durant a week ago against the Syracuse Orange.
And a week ago, those runs busted out for 20, 25, 30. Seems like every hit. A little bit stiffer in the middle, NC State. Let's see what they've got here on 3rd down and medium. 3rd down and 3 they'll call it.
Looking to convert on 3rd down for the first time in the game. Chase Bryce nowhere to go. And 3 red shirts converge on Chase Bryce. Isaiah Moore was there. Peyton Wilson also. And now it is 4th down for Duke.
Wilson maybe a little bit banged up on that. But how about the pursuit? Look at him. Look at the Wolves hunting together. Stretching it out. Good angles. And watch everybody. We saw earlier, remember we saw Duke earlier, a couple guys take the wrong angles, put them in that vice, that lockdown. Nowhere to go for Bryce.
Thomas, the deep man, but this punt takes a sideways bounce beyond the 25-yard line. Punt from Wilson for Duke. Noah Gray was down there to touch it for the Blue Devils. So from their own 27-yard line, that's where the drive will start for NC State. Last week's victory, the 50th in the head coaching career for Dave Doran, and he sends out Devin Leary once again, the sophomore. Leary, who really earned his stripes, James, a couple of weeks ago against Pitt on that last-second drive as they beat the Panthers, who were then ranked number 24 on October 3rd, 28-24, and Leary threw the game-winning TD pass of 13 yards with just 23 seconds left in regulation against Pitt.
Incredible game-winning drive by the youngster. Look at this.
Trying to go deep. Receiver and defender get tangled up. There is an interception from Jeremiah Lewis. C.J. Riley was the target for Leary, and he's talking to the official as he walks on by. There are no flags on the play.
There aren't many fans here, but you can hear them chirping because they want a flag. Let's see, it looks almost like the feet got tangled up. There you actually see a hand on the hip. As Riley goes down, no flag. A good job of tracking that ball. Through it all by Jeremiah Lewis. Had the interception a couple weeks ago against Virginia Tech. Sophomore from Plano, Texas. Turns it over one more time here in Raleigh today. Nice catch. Hometown fans wanted a flag.
Second interception of the season for Lewis. Ball right back to Chase Bryce. The sprint out and completion at the 40. Jake Marweedy gets hit in the hip and taken down at that 41-yard line.
You know, a nice little bootleg here, but one thing that Chase Bryce struggled on last week at Syracuse was throwing on the run, rolling out and throwing. He's a drop back passer, but still, David Cutcliffe was telling us, hey, even Peyton Manning, I drilled him to death on that rollout, and he got better at it. They worked on it a lot this week.
This is Durant. He gets near the 50-yard line and got popped, and a flag came out. Did he get hit in the helmet there, James, at the tail end of the play? Right near the 50-yard line. Malik Dunlap is number 24. Cecil Powell was also there. Here's Gary Patterson.
Personal foul, targeting, number 6, defense. Penalties 15 yards within the run. First down.
They'll take a look at it, of course.
He's under further review.
And so will we, and he's gone. That's, what a shame. You know, it's Tanner Ingles missed some time. You had Joshua Pierre-Lewis was ejected in the Pitt game for targeting. Same thing's going to happen right here. Unfortunately, Jakeem Harris, you know, and I'm all for protecting him, and this is the right call. But, you know, the shame of it is you haven't seen defenses play real physical football a lot this year. One thing that's jumped out about Dave Doran's, Tony Gibson's defense is these guys in red, in each game I've watched coming in, they've played hard, and they've swarmed the football together, and it's good to see because it hasn't always been the case. Look across the college football landscape. You know, the big dogs that you usually think of, the great defenses, Alabama and LSU are really struggling defensively. Guys don't seem to be playing with that fire that we've seen, and you know, but you got to be smart about it. You got to be smart about it, and this isn't that. This costs your team, and you know, it's also a secondary that's missing a lot of guys with injury. They've missed guys with the contact tracing, with COVID.
After further review, the ruling on the field of targeting is confirmed. Number 6 is disqualified for the remainder of the game.
So he will be able to stay, though, on the NC State side of the field. There is no escort to the dressing room anymore attached with the targeting disqualification. So disqualified but not ejected. He is able to stay on the sideline with his teammates should he so choose.
That's one of the rule changes this year. The only one dealing with targeting. And, you know, a guy who contributed against Virginia in that win. He forced the fumble.
So a couple of turnovers for NC State, one for Duke. This is Deion Jackson. He only got a yard. Remember, he is right on the cusp of getting 2,000 yards for his career. In fact, he needs just one more yard to get to 2,000. We thought maybe he had done it a week ago, James. It was a bit of a scoring and statistical adjustment made at the Carrier Dome.
It's because we didn't have Freddie as our stats guy up there.
Jackson had 169 yards a week ago. And this one right here is Deion Jackson, and that is going to be enough for him to hit that milestone.
See the big man in the middle eating up a couple bodies, and you know, you're taking up those blockers, you're eating up those blockers. Frees up other guys to get in there and knife through and make the stop. Nice few plays back-to-back here defensively. Let's see if they can get off the field.
Blue Devils 0 for 3 on third down, just 43% so far this season. Starting the game, this one is going to be short of the marker as well. It was at the 25-yard line. Noah Gray made the catch. Cecil Powell was all over him and kept him short of the line to gain at the 25.
Not bad for a former wide receiver. Hey, knowing your situation, where you are on the field, catch that in front of me all day on a third down and long. Just not going to let you run that route by me and get beat deep. Chase Bryce and that offense remain out there on a 4th down and 3 now.
And now NC State takes a timeout.
North Carolina State at the first timeout of the half.
Interestingly enough, this season, Duke is 4 for 4 at home on 4th down and 0 for 5 away from Durham on 4th down this season, and they were out there and ready to go. And the Wolfpack decided to take a timeout and halt things for the moment with 1:07 to go in our first quarter of action from Carter-Finley Stadium, ACC football. So here are big bow moments presented by Bojangles for the Blue Devils on special teams.
Isaiah Fisher-Smith getting through there, blocking the punt, and Mausi taking it to the house for 7 turnovers as well. Ripping the ball away from Bam Knight is Dwayne Carter. Also some big moments for the hometown team. The Wolfpack, Peyton Wilson, intercepted, lost it, got it right back. Unable to do anything with it, though. There's the interception just moments ago by Jeremiah Lewis. 1:07 left here in the first quarter. Coach cut after the timeout, called by Dave Doran, sends his offense back out there for a big 4th down and 3 now.
Got to get to the 25. Quick pass. Bobo complete and tripped up near the 20. So the conversion on 4th down, Jake Bobo, that's all he does, James, is catch balls for first downs. That's now 14 first down catches this season for Bobo. A teammate is down. That's Will Taylor. That's the center. And Will Taylor and Chase Bryce played high school football on the same team. But Taylor, the junior from Snellville, Georgia, down and favoring that left knee.
Gosh, and this really hurts. You talk about the relationship, and goes without saying, a relationship, a shotgun offense, this pistol offense of David Cutcliffe's, the timing with Will Taylor, your buddy, and the communication. And Chase Bryce knew all of this and learning everything through Zoom. Now forced in, and there's a look at 62 Barton warming up.
And Lindsay has more on this.
Guys, you definitely hate to see Will Taylor go down there. You know, he ended up suffering an injury very early in his career. His freshman year, suffered a knee injury which caused damage to the nerves controlling the muscles to his lower right leg, leaving Will with the condition known as foot drop. With the muscles not firing normally, he couldn't lift the front part of his foot or walk or run smoothly for that matter. The doctor said football might not be in his future, but after a ton of hard work, Will's back on the football field. His twin brother, John Taylor, is the long snapper for Duke, and he said he could have never gotten through his recovery without his brother brother, Coach Cutcliffe, commented saying what Will has gone through and what he has done to get where he is, that's what you call paying the ultimate price. So definitely hoping that Will Taylor can recover here and he's okay.
Lindsay, absolutely. And, you know, on our Zoom call with Coach Cut this week, we actually spent a lot of time talking about Will Taylor the last few weeks. This Duke offense is really concentrated on timing. And he talked about the timing not only and not just in the pass game, but the run game especially. The timing of the blocks, the timing of those handoffs, and it all starts with an accurate center. And he really bragged on Will Taylor and how accurate he's been and how big he's been for Chase Bryce as they help him off. And that's a shame. He's been through so much, as you mentioned. And there's your backup, 62.
Graham Barton getting ready to come into the game. And remember, the starting center, Jack Wallabaugh, is out with a right knee injury. So you're down to essentially your third center on the depth chart, and Graham Barton will roll out there, number 62 in white and blue for the Blue Devils. For the moment, hoping everything is okay with Will Taylor, but we'll keep you updated on that situation. And we're inside of a minute to go in the first. 7th play of the current drive for the Blue Devils with the ball to 20 of NC State. It's Deion Jackson. Told you just a moment ago he went over 2,000 yards in his rushing career at Duke. 8th player to do so in school history. Football started at Duke, by the way, in 1888. They're playing their 108th season of collegiate football at Duke. He and his teammate Mateo Durant got in the record books a week ago, James, against the Cuse.
Yeah, they were really proud of that. They should be, too. It was a heck of an outing. Guys like Will Taylor and company clearing the way. He's way up top. Deion Jackson is split wide, empty set in the backfield now for the quarterback. 5
receivers to choose from. Steps up, lofts it near the goal line. A juggling attempt on the catch by the receiver Eli Pancol. Did get a hand on it, but couldn't haul it in near that NC State end zone.
Bryce tries to put a little bit more of a touch on it here, and that's what he had to do. It was decent coverage with the defender trailing right behind Pancol. Had to be a perfect throw. Bryce might have wanted to tuck that one and go. Would have gotten close to that first down marker. Instead, it's a 3rd down and 8 after that ball falls incomplete.
So the Blue Devils will take a timeout. They have not converted a 3rd down of the game. They're 0 for 4. And there's 6 seconds to go in the quarter. It's been a wild quarter, James, but yet the score just 7-0 Duke. That blocked punt and return for the Blue Devils is the difference right now for Coach Cutcliffe and his Blue Devils, looking for 2 wins in a row, trying to string them together after the win at the Dome last week. Just their 2nd trip ever to the Carrier Dome, and the Blue Devil program is 2-0 there in upstate New York. Also won back in 2014. Coach Cutcliffe predicted that win, did he not, James? Or at least that his offense would have a productive day.
He said we could go up there and light it up.
Yeah, and that's what they did. 645 yards of total offense against the Orange.
And it is David Cutcliffe. Remember calling the offensive plays for the first time, calling his own plays, his own offensive coordinator since 2007. Last time he called plays at the University of Tennessee. What does he have on 3rd down and 8 now? They got to get to the 10.
See how good this snap is from Barton. First collegiate snaps for him. It's on the money. They go the other direction. That's Calhoun. Tried to fake out a couple of defenders. I see at least 2 penalty markers on the field, if not 3.
It's going to come back, I think. Levi Jones did an excellent job of reading and getting up there, pulling the trigger, going up there, trying to make the stop. He turned them back into his buddies, but was getting held by an offensive player, so he couldn't make the tackle. Levi Jones had some big plays. He's the one who blocked the punt, by the way, against Virginia last week for North Carolina State.
During the run, legal block at the back. Number 62, offense. 10 yards from the spot of the foul. The first period will be extended for an untimed down.
62, James, is the new center, Barton.
Well, there you saw it right there, diving over the top. That was actually on Isaiah Moore. 62 was trying to block him. And so
before we step aside for the end of the quarter, let me to make this official. So because of the penalty, it looks like we'll have an untimed down. Penalty again was on the new center, Graham Barton, who came in for the injured Will Taylor. So one play with zeros on the clock. Bryce, 3rd and long, trying to extend the play, and then he sails that one towards the seats into that corner of sunshine. All right, James, what do you think? 15 minutes done.
It was fun. I like this new rivalry.
All right.
Duke and NC State, 1 quarter. What are the next 3 going to bring us? 7-0 Blue Devils after 1.
They had that special teams touchdown and lead it 7-0. Back to Raleigh in just a moment. All right, James, 15 minutes complete. And the big play made by Mausi, the return of 32 yards after the block punt.
Well, look at those penalties and turnovers over on the Wolfpack side. Lucky it's just 7-0 after 1, but Duke, as we start the second, trying to make it 10-0.
10th play of the drive will be a field goal attempt of 46 yards from Charlie Ham, the redshirt freshman. And Ham adds another 3. So Charlie Ham is now 9 of 10 on the season. And that was just 1 yard short of his season high, which was 47, and that against Virginia. So Ham's been pretty solid. 9 of 10 on the season, and now 10-0. Very early moments of our second quarter.
Points at a premium, of course, through the first quarter, and a misconnection on what could have been an easy second touchdown for Duke down near the goal line. They ended up getting nothing out of it after the Peyton Wilson interception. Got to take advantage anytime they get down there in or near that red zone. Can't come away empty-handed, but still, they get 3. A nice little lead early to start. Look at Chase Bryce over there on the sideline.
Chase Bryce is 5 of 10 through the air, 37 yards, and the 1 interception is 9th of the season. That all in the first quarter. So Coach Doran's team in a 10-0 hole against Duke. They've lost the last 2 against the Blue Devils, but as we told you, those meetings were in 09 and 2013. It's been a while for these geographically closely located teams. Person Jr. trying to find that sideline and turn it upfield near the 30. Knocked out of bounds right at the 30-yard line. Zontavis Robertson, special teams making the play. He's the usual return man for the Blue Devils on punts. So we told you about the Blue Devils and the achievements of that front line recognized with those change of numbers. A lot of single digits up front, James, on the big fellas.
Yeah, you make big plays for the Wolfpack. You throw a dog a bone. These guys get to change that number up and make them look skinny, I guess, is what they're after.
And fast. Trying to stop Ricky Person Jr. They had 6 sacks as a team for the Blue Devils a week ago against the Orange, which lost today at the Dome against Liberty, one of the earlier finals. You saw that one. Most of you did on your regional sports network prior to us.
Held Syracuse to 28 yards rushing, Duke did last weekend.
Devin Leary, sophomore quarterback. And his running back Person's going to be dropped. It's going to be a loss of 2 on the play. Ran into Ben Fry. Single digit number 3 for Fry. 4 letters in the last name. Number 3, Fry on the play.
3's the magic number for the Blue Devils. Look at all the white hats sitting there waiting on that edge. If this was a read, it wasn't the right one by Devin Leary. Sent us back into a wave of white uniforms, so it's a 3rd down and long. Look at Coach Ben Albert, the co-defensive coordinator, putting some fire on that defensive front.
3rd and 8. Pressured. Almost going down was Leary. Got away. Fires on the run. That one pops in the air, and it's caught. Emeka Emezi was in the neighborhood, and a Duke player who is down. That's Rocky Shelton. The NC State receiver was in some serious traffic. The ball was jarred loose, popped in the air, and taken by Amezi.
Well, the serious traffic and trouble starts with Fry. He can't drop Leary. Leary escapes, gets it out. The ball goes up in the air what seems like forever. Amezi's going to come down with it, so dodging a little bit of a bullet, and the Wolfpack making things happen.
ACC football is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina. We resolve to help North Carolina stay healthy. Bojangles, it's bow time. And your local Chevy dealer, Georgia Drive Chevy.
That is Thaddeus Lewis, who back in 2009, when the teams last played here in Raleigh, had a day. 4th in school history in yards through the air with 459. 40 of 50, 5 touchdown passes, and a rushing TD. 49-28. Duke won it on the road here at NC State in 2009. Thaddeus Lewis. What a flashback right there. 459 yards passing for Lewis. It was a crazy previous play, James, with Amezi making the catch. First down for Devin Leary. He'll roll it right, look back left. Looking for Ricky Person. Shaka Hayward had Person covered pretty well as it sailed into the Wolfpack bench area.
It's a good job here by Hayward. Shaka Hayward. He's going to come out from his linebacker spot and run with that wheel route, looking that way the entire time, thinking that way rather, as he's rolling the other way. Leary, a nice job too by the rusher pulling up at the very end. Could have taken a shot on Leary and rolled the dice a little bit. Lived to play another down.
Pressure. Leary got it away. Person right at the line. And that is going to be a first down as Mausi brought him down. Chains are moving for NC State. They got 11 yards on the play.
Good job there. A little screen called a Person who's really been big. Haven't seen a whole lot of Bam Knight here in this one today. Had the big game against Virginia. It's been Person helping him out.
Leary's pass, that complete beyond the 40-yard line. And down close to the 37. Person, Hayward on the tackle.
Trying to go back to that tempo that we saw earlier when they had the ball for a while.
Here goes Leary again. Missed the long pass inside the 10-yard line. Devin Carter down there, number 88, Jeremiah Lewis, who has a first quarter interception. To his credit, was back there defending. A clean play, no flags out.
Doesn't always mean it's clean, though, does it?
I knew you were going to say that.
Got the hand up on the pad. I think it's a good no call. Yeah, wasn't like it was.
If the official determines, James, that neither player was able to get advantage there, I think that qualifies as clean.
No blood, no foul,
there
right?
There you go.
All right.
So now 3rd and 6 for NC State inside that 40 of Duke. Leary the time underneath, some room to run. First down inside the 30, Devin Carter. Good looking play from the pack to move the chains. Michael Carter made the tackle.
Well, that's a good job by the offensive front, keeping the guys hard charging defensive line off of their quarterback and giving him some time for Carter to clear out there underneath the middle and move those sticks.
They got 9 yards on that previous play for the first down. Leary keeps it and fires. That pass is incomplete to Thayer Thomas, who got hit. Marquise Waters, 0, and a senior from Delray Beach, Florida.
Tim Beck, offensive coordinator, trying to work that middle in this prize fight. Hitting just punching on that middle. There's Waters with the big hit. Having some success there in the middle of the field with those big bodies. Not the case right there. So here's a 2nd and 10 for his sophomore quarterback.
So Leary in the game, 6 of 12, 56 yards. Does have the interception thrown to Jeremiah Lewis. They're going to run it. Able to get inside the 25-yard line is Jordan Houston, the sophomore.
I like how Tim Beck gets creative with guys like Jordan Houston. You see him in all kinds of different spots. Even Dylan Parham, the fullback we've seen in there, H-back, who's done a good job blocking at times here this season. 3rd down and 5 now for Beck in the offense.
And they are 3 for 5 on 3rd down and 1 for 1 on 3rd down on this drive. Trailing 10-0. NC State averages over 34 points per game. Not on the board yet. This one down by the goal line. A juggling chance. Right near the pylon, Devin Carter in front of Jeremiah Lewis. They'll mark him right down near the 1-yard line on the catch by Carter, and it went for 23 yards.
Boy, they like this matchup. Unable to connect just moments ago. The big body Carter this time has to double catch it, but he pulls it in nonetheless. They're over the ball in a hurry.
On 1st and goal, trying to slam it into the end zone and in for the touchdown. Jordan Houston finishes off the drive for NC State, and they're on the board.
First, go back to this catch. These two have been going at it, and quickly over that ball, because it was going to be interesting if they take another look at it, and I think it's the right call. He had it, seemed to have control with that one last foot in, but still it got very interesting, and they even had to triple catch to finally pull it in. Big body, though, taking advantage of it down low.
Christopher Dunn has the extra point. A 1-yard run from Jordan Houston. James is his 2nd rushing TD of the season.
And after the big hook up through the air, Houston, we have a touchdown. NC State is on the board. It's 10-7.
The Wolfpack take it in from a yard out. Jordan Houston finishing the drive. Prior to that short run from Jordan Houston, Devin Carter made a juggling grab, James, right at the 1-yard line. 23 yards on the play.
Nice throw there. He tried the same back shoulder type of throw Leary did just a few moments before. You know, and that right foot, that would be the question if they spent some time on it. Is the right foot still down when he finally gains control? It's going to be this step right here. I think the left, by the time the ball was controlled, the left was out of bounds, so it would be that right foot. But didn't give him a chance to look at it and didn't stop the play. I think it would have stood. 7 points nonetheless for Tim Beck. And the NC State offense, Coach Tim Beck in his first season here in Raleigh. Spent the last few years, he was at Texas and Ohio State before that, Nebraska. Making some things happen on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, James, they were 3 for 3 on 3rd down in that drive. 3rd down had been an issue.
Big time.
Yeah, against Virginia. I know they won the game 38-21. They were just 3 of 13 on 3rd down. This is Stinson coming out of his own end zone. Leaps near the 12 and gets driven back. They'll give him the 11-yard line on the return from Stinson. Matthew Wagner on special teams. So earlier in this game in the first quarter, Peyton Wilson, the sophomore from Hillsborough, North Carolina, had an interception. He's probably paying attention to Major League Baseball this part of the season.
Yeah.
As the Atlanta Braves are still in it. That's his older brother who was on the Braves staff. Got the win the other day. That was game 4 against the Dodgers. They're playing today in game 6, and the Braves are just 1 game away from the World Series.
Yeah, 6 innings of 1-hit ball, got the win. He was a heck of a linebacker in high school as well, football player. Probably could have played some football like his brother.
I wonder if Big Brother has it on a device in the dugout, just keeping an eye on NC State and Duke today, as Peyton came up with a highlight interception.
Peyton right on cue, helping us out by flashing right here and going through there, making the tackle along with Tanner Engel. Like watching 10 play.
This is Jackson absorbing the initial contact, and reinforcements are there to end the play. That included C.J. Clark with the first pop. Number 52, he goes 6'3" and 300 pounds for the redshirt freshman.
Yeah, we've made a big deal about Aleem McNeil, but 52, his backup, the redshirt freshman from New London, North Carolina, he stands out as well. Big, and quick. Let's see what they got now. 3rd down and 5 after a couple back-to-back good plays defensively.
0 for 5 on 3rd down of the game for Duke. They'll send it out to Pancol. He was tackled almost immediately. Isaac Duffy, and now 0 for 6 on 3rd down, and Duke into the punting situation.
Pancol breaks that route off a couple yards shy of that 1st down stick. So all day long, Duffy says, hey, you can run that route in front of me all day long. A good job defensively, knowing where Duke's trying to get. And a good job of getting off the field, putting it back in the offense's hands after they've scored their first points of the game just moments ago.
Wilson to punt to Thomas. There, Thomas standing at his own 40-yard line. His team trailing 10-7. This one bouncing around. It went out of bounds.
And look at those flags.
Yeah, on that first bounce, they're going to put it at the 49 on the Duke side of the field. There are 2 flags behind the play.
Running into the kicker, number 34, defense, 5-yard penalty, results in a 1st down.
These penalties have just been some crushers. Special teams hurting North Carolina State here today as well. And it's not a big hit. You know, he runs in, the punter plays it off a little bit, doing his job, but got to stay away from that guy as they're trying to protect him. And man, I mean, you talk about a punch to the gut. You're going to get off the field, put it back in the hands of your offense, go down trying to take the lead. Instead, you give them a fresh set of downs and put your defense right back out there after they had a great 3 and out.
Call win against Mims for NC State. Back to the ground game with Deion Jackson, the senior from Atlanta, Georgia, who in this game has gone over 2,000 yards for his career. You know, he still might be tired from last week, James.
Yeah, you know, this is a lot different from last week. Last week, those runs between the tackles, there were some big-time pops just about every time they handed it off. And NC State is ready for it today. Tanner Engel coming down and filling, helping in that box with his big guys up front. Nothing doing so far right up the gut.
Jackson had 30 carries a week ago. That one is Dennis Smith, the sophomore, to make the play. And Peyton Wilson there, 11 in red. 6'4" and 240 for the sophomore. Back to 3rd and short. Duke hasn't converted yet, James. That is going to be just enough. Deion Jackson with a run of 3 yards to grease the chains for Duke and move him up the field.
Nice vision. Yeah, that's one thing that jumps out, not just with Duke's running backs, but with NC State's as well. They all run with good vision, and a great job to bend it back right there, get just enough to move those sticks by Deion Jackson.
First time to convert on 3rd down of the game for the Blue Devils. Up the middle for Deion Jackson behind his line. Some post-whistle activity as well between these longtime ACC rivals, and some good sportsmanship there also on display. There's a penalty marker sitting behind that Duke line.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 90, defense, 15-yard penalty, automatic, 1st down.
So James, they get the running into the kicker penalty, and now Savion Jackson personal foul.
He does an excellent job of standing up the offensive line and using his hands to shuck him.
Some shenanigans after the whistle are going to cost NC State there. So now the ball's at the 48 of NC State.
Look at 6 penalties. Gosh, it seems like every single one, it's been just at the worst possible time helping out this Duke offense.
Sprinting out to his left, Durant, he's cut down. Drake Thomas, number 32, and a sophomore on the play.
Wow. Drake Thomas found out he was going to start going in the first game, and against Wake had 12 tackles, a sack, a tackle for loss. Here he drops him for a loss again. Excellent job getting rid of this would-be blocker, going and making a big play.
Loss of 5, 2nd and 15. The pirouette end pass to Durant trying to go up the sideline. Cecil Powell impeding his progress. And now 3rd down with 6:41 on the clock for Duke. You mentioned that win, James, on September 19th for NC State against Wake Forest right here at home, 45-42. They had 270 yards on the ground as a team against the Neiman Deeks in the winning effort. Here's 3rd and 10.
Careful with the turnovers here at Duke. Don't give them good field position. Worst case scenario, punt it away and make them earn it.
Bryce, the pass right near the marker at the 38. Jake Bobo with the leap.
Wow, Bobo has to climb the ladder, runs that route, breaks it off right at the chains. Tanner Ingles breaking on it. It's going to hit him, and he lands hard on his back. Surprised he popped right up. That's kind of landing where you knock the wind out of yourself. And they'll move those sticks. They're going to check the video and make sure. It certainly seemed like he landed inbounds, but what a throw and catch. Guy that's covered, and that elbow's going to hit. That elbow is going to be treated as if it were a knee, and so it will stand. Tanner Ingles just been working his tail off, but right there, Duke comes out on top of that one-on-one battle. It's 10-7, Blue Devils.
After further review, the receiver touched inbounds with his elbow in possession of the ball at the 38-yard line. Result of the catch, 1st and 10, 38-yard line. Media timeout.
There's one more look at it. That's what they saw in the replay booth. Fresh set of downs, and that was a big 3rd down pickup.
Calhoun near the 30-yard line, just short of it. Peyton Wilson on the tackle. Bobo now, James, with 17 catches for the season, as this was the Calhoun sprint out. And again, there's some activity post-whistle, but Bobo now, he's got 17 catches. 15 have gone for 1st downs this season. He's got 2 today. And he just made a spectacular grab, elevating for that football and staying in bounds. Deion Jackson inside the 30, but perhaps not quite enough for the 1st down. And things are getting spirited out there between these two programs.
And they just keep trying to pound away, even though the success hasn't come like it did last week there between the tackles. Just trying to kind of keep pounding that middle, get a couple yards here, bring up a 3rd down and short.
13th play of the drive. And that Jackson. And that's a 1st down for Duke. Inside the 25-yard line for Jackson. Now 3 of 9 on 3rd down of the game for Duke, and they're all during this drive.
It's a big drive for Duke, too, Tom. We talked about, in that 0-4 start, they couldn't stay on the field offensively. It was just a crusher for a very talented defense that could never catch its breath, be it a turnover or a 3-and-out. And to put drives like this together, this offense is growing. Boy, they like to get some points here late in the 1st half.
Bryce with the time. And that pass incomplete, looking for Bobo. They're closing in on 11 minutes of time of possession on this drive with 4:22 on the clock.
It's kind of like last week against Syracuse. They had 36 1st downs in that game.
Second and 10 for Chase Bryce, junior quarterback from Grayson, Georgia. Bryce still has it. And Bryce inside the 10-yard line. 1st and goal, Duke. Nobody around him, James. Plenty of room to run.
Ran that play, the same play, 1st or 2nd snap of the game. You run it, you run it, you run it, you run it. Everybody can trying to stop that back. They've done such a good job in sneaking it out of there. A Nice pull and going. A good job blocking down the field by Bobo, who made the big catch to keep this drive alive. He helps make that run even bigger for his quarterback. First down inside the 10 now.
First and goal. That is Bobo. And he makes his way to the end zone. Jake Bobo with some fancy footwork. Had a huge catch to convert on third down for Duke, and then he takes it into the end zone. There's a player down for NC State behind the play as well.
Well, a lot of traffic over here. A nice job of clearing things off. Marweedy. A little bit of a screen there of the defender to keep him off of Bobo, and Bobo doing some nifty dancing to get in there, and then the big flex show for some cutouts there on the first row. He's talking trash to the cutouts they have here at Carter-Finley.
8 yards on the play, and that was Tanner Engel, trying to shake off the after effects of the previous play. Junior from Orlando, Florida, trying to walk it off.
I hope he's okay. 10 plays his guts out. He's one of my favorite players in the ACC. Last couple years watching him play, and he just plays so hard. There you see how upset he is, Tom, because he knows he's banged up and may not be able to go for a little while. Just an old school. He's a tough guy, man.
So the TD pass by Bryce on the play with his 6th of the season. And Jake Bobo has his first touchdown catch of the year. And he did a lot of the heavy lifting on that drive. A couple of critical catches. One for a first down and one for a touchdown. Not bad.
A drive again that was aided by a couple penalties, a couple big penalties. Keep it going. Running into the kicker. Way back at the beginning of the drive. Trying to make it a 10-point lead now.
Charlie Ham. 16 plays on the drive, culminating in the catch by Bobo. Catch and run, James, into the end zone for Duke.
It's really busy over there, but at the end, when the dust settles, it's Jake Bobo getting busy. Take that, all you cutout fans.
Blue Devils get in the end zone on the road and have the 17-6 lead. Bobo, the 8-yard, make it 17-7 as Bobo got in there from 8 yards away. It's part of a Yellowwood 5-star drive summary, James.
Well, look at that, almost 7 minutes time of possession. And a point of emphasis, try to give that defense a little bit of a breather. They got their, that's for sure, on that drive. 16 plays and 89 yards.
All right, let's check in with Lindsay on the sidelines.
Guys, I spoke with Jake Bobo early this week, and he told me that this week he was really trying to focus on using his body and his frame to take advantage of other teams' defenses. He wants to be more physical, not get pushed out, and he said overall just make it easier on his quarterback, Chase Bryce, today. So far, doing a pretty good job.
I'll say, Lindsay, football family. Dad played at Dartmouth. His grandpa played at SMU. And for the Dallas Cowboys in the NFL, number 19, putting some points on the board for his Duke Blue Devils here today.
3 catches, 26 yards, and the touchdown for number 19, Jake Bobo, the junior from Belmont, Massachusetts. Knight, the deep man, number 7. Meets it at the 5 with the fair catch. So the Blue Devils on the road again after the victory against Syracuse at the Dome a week ago. NC State, a couple of quality road victories at Pittsburgh, at Virginia. David Cutcliffe's team, though, has come to play today, and they started it with special teams. Chase Bryce has a TD pass to Bobo. Ham has a field goal as well. Dorian Mausi, the return of the blocked punt by Isaiah Fisher-Smith. And Duke took it in the end zone from 32 yards away. Here we stand, 17-7. James Bates late in the second quarter. NC State with the football.
Plenty of time to answer right here for Leary in the offense, that's for sure.
Wants to go up top near midfield. In amongst 3 defenders, and the catch made of Emeka Emezi, the senior.
These two hooked up quite a bit in the first start for Leary back against Pitt. 7 catches, 101 yards, and 2 touchdowns for Emezi. And look at that. Talk about threading the needle. He dropped a few in that game and against Virginia early. Just shows the confidence in Devin Leary, the quarterback. And not sure who called timeout. Oh, there's an injured Duke Blue Devil down there. That's Johnson.
Last play went for 27 yards. 3rd catch for Emezi for 51 yards. Leonard Johnson, number 33, down for the Blue Devils.
You see the numbers for Devin Leary, and you know, he was lights out against Pitt. Early on against Virginia, the same in the first half, and then kind of mudding around with that lead. The best second half against Virginia, went 2 of 9 for 45 yards and the interception. And not perfect here in the first half, but still a lot of football to be played, and definitely a 10-point lead is within reach for Devin Leary and company. But this is where he really seems to shine, when it's like go time in a game-winning type drive like he had to drive down against Pitt.
And you know, Coach Doran mentioned some pretty famous names in this program's history who hadn't done that, James. And Leary, he says, has turned a corner now with able to do that in game situation. He'd done it in practice many times, of course, as they'd gone over that 2-minute drill. But he threw the winning TD pass to Emeka Emezi with just 23 seconds to go at Pittsburgh for NC State.
They had under 2 minutes for that drive at the end of the game against Pitt. So here now 3:35 left. 2 timeouts left for NC State.
So with Johnson out, Carter goes to corner, and Jalen Alexander sliding into the safety spot. This is Leary. That's incomplete. Looking for Kerry Angeline. Angeline was part of a trick play that Coach Beck drew up last week against Virginia. A little razzle trickeration from NC State for 32 yards in the first quarter, and Angeline took it in on a pass from Leary.
He's got some nice big targets, does Leary, and especially in that tight end, the transfer from USC, Kerry Angeline. But good coverage. You know, some of those incompletions, too, or Leary just throwing it away because good coverage by the secondary.
Just drops it off to Knight. And he gets pulled down by Derek Tangelo. Wrapped him up on the lower leg and wouldn't let go. Tangelo.
Reading an article, David Cutcliffe, watching on the flight back from Syracuse last week. He told one of his assistant coaches, he said, don't let Derek Tangelo, when they landed here in North Carolina, don't let him pass me. I need to talk to him. He wanted to let him know how much he meant to this defense, to this team, and how much he grew up in that football game. He flashed then, and he's just keeping it on. Consistency is good to see out of Tangelo. Number 8 today, the senior from Gaithersburg, Maryland. There's your 3rd down and 6 now, Tom.
Leary, the pocket collapsing around him. He gets out of there, but he's going to be short of the 38-yard line. Needed to get to the 38 for the first down, and wrapped up by Drew Jordan, number 2.
You know, when you talk about Leary, you first thing, and justifiably so, you go to that arm. He's got a strong arm, can thread that needle. But you know what? He's fearless when the pressure's on him, and he's not known as a runner, but he certainly can get squirmy. And here comes a 4th down and 5, and what could have been a 4th down and 10, and just looking to punt it away. Instead, give yourself a chance, and he moves it up there rather than taking the sack. Let's see if they're going to snap it here and try to do something. Trying to just draw him off sides. If you don't get it and you give Duke that short field, they're going to call the timeout. And I'm thinking they're going to punt it away here, but we'll see. But still, it's, you know, just a lot of football to be played. You don't make it right here and you give Duke that short field, and then they can go down and score a touchdown. It's the last thing you want. So
NC State is 4 of 5 on 4th down for the season. But they call a timeout with 1:43 to go in our second quarter, trailing 17-7. Last year was certainly a struggle. They lost their last 6 games in 2019 and finished 4-8. Had gone to 5 straight bowl games prior to that season. Special teams, Duke got it done. Dorian Mausi on the return after Isaiah Fisher-Smith had blocked the punt of Trenton Gill. And then Jake Bobo, I mean James, nimble and light-footed.
That was that last touchdown. Nice little drive of 89 yards. And Duke just made a wholesale change, sending that punting unit out there. They've blocked that one punt we just saw in the highlights, but careful here. 4th down and 5. Don't want to give them a freebie on a fake. Make sure they punt it away.
They will punt it. Robertson will allow this one to bounce and just go into the end zone. On the punt from Gill. And players are talking after the whistle, James. There's more discussion.
It's the grocery store rivalry. You can see him in aisle 5. Thank you, shoppers. Thank you, shoppers. Big brawl in aisle 5. You see Gill trying to sell the...
This is Robertson here.
And a good job by Robertson, but
he tells him where the ball is.
Well, but no, he does when and it's too late. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Kind of rubbing it in a little bit because the first one down there, the first 2 down there, he's called a fair catch. You got to get there and put your heels on that end zone on the goal line, turn around and find that football, and you've got him pinned at the 1 instead of at the 20-yard line. So another special teams blunder for NC State.
Mateo Durant. I don't know that you'll see anything overly risky right now from Duke with the 17-7 lead. NC State does have 1 timeout. Duke has 2. 13th year as the head coach, David Cutcliffe. 5-7 a season ago. But they've won 3 straight bowl games prior to last year when they finished 5-7 and 3-5 in conference play. Bryce.
Snapped it with 15 seconds on the play clock and going to throw it out of bounds and kill the clock. This is a NC State team that blocked a punt last week against Virginia, and they've got that timeout left, so they get a stop here on 3rd down and 9. At least get a chance to get a punt return or another block. So clock management kind of coming into play here too.
56 seconds on the game clock, 2nd quarter, 17-7. For Chase Bryce. From that pocket, ran into his own man and then stumbled down. He had the time. Bryce a little bit shaken up as he comes back to his feet. Maybe favoring that left arm, James. Ran into Graham Barton, the new center.
They're curious there with the play calling because, as we all know, well advertised, more turnovers than anybody in the nation this offense. Here you've got a 10-point lead, and they try to throw it on back-to-back plays. Able to come out alive, but, 48 damage is done there. Looks to the left arm of Chase Bryce, but 48 seconds left, and the punting unit forced to come on. Wilson trying to poke that ball out.
So it's 4th and long for Duke, and they hustle the punt team out there. Thayer Thomas is deep for NC State.
Here comes the block.
They got a piece of it. It's bouncing around. Picked up by NC State and into the end zone. They block and they score. Max Fisher, number 22, picked it up and took it in. An 8-yard return for the touchdown for NC State.
Wow, they bring the house. Everybody in a red jersey on the field coming through. And there there's your scoop and score. They blocked a punt against Virginia last week. Dave Doran was happy. He said, yeah, I like the block punt. I love block punts, but you got to scoop and score. So they've worked on that this week, and it pays off. And look at that. Right before halftime, they cut the Duke lead to 3.
A return of 8 yards. There are a couple of penalty markers. In fact, there are 3 out on the extra point. There's Fisher celebrating on that sideline. Duke got to do that earlier in the game on a block punt and return.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 71, offense. That 15-yard penalty will be enforced on the kickoff. That is number 71's first unsportsmanlike.
The Wolfpack, they've got to clean this up. They've got to clean these penalties up in the second half. It's a whole new ball game now. After that scoop and score, the block punt, and Max Fisher taking it to the house.
So Dylan Mosley, James, number 31, got a piece of it. Fisher picked it up, and he's credited with an 8-yard return, and this is the penalty on the extra point.
Oh, there we go. Okay, I thought it was just that first half, but it was the extra shove after the fact. There's your number. Look at that. Just 1 penalty for Duke and 7 for almost 100 yards for the Wolfpack.
So they brought the block and got a piece of it and put it in the end zone.
Was it Mosley? Got to make sure now. Levi Jones wears that 31 as well, and he blocked the punt last week against Virginia. So I just want to make sure that it was him. I don't want to steal it from Mosley, but we'll figure it out there. But I think it was Levi Jones maybe.
Okay. Duke on a return. Jalen Stinson. And there's still some time on the clock. Again, the teams are talking. Post whistle. So with 45 seconds on the game clock, decent field position for Duke after the return by Stinson. And 17-14. So we've now had 2 block punts taken back for touchdowns.
Well, defensive coordinator and longtime special teams coach in college and the NFL, Ron Zook, used to always preach that if you block a punt, there's a pretty good chance you're going to win a game. Now I guess it is anybody's game. It's a coin flip because each team's blocked a punt in this one in the first half. Crazy first half.
So Bryce back out there, gave this one to Durant. Collision at the 45-yard line. They'll mark him at the 44. Mateo Durant on the play for 13 yards. James, we are getting confirmation that Vi Jones, who also wears 31, did make the block for NC State. Fisher returned it.
Back-to-back weeks. Wow.
Yep. So Fisher returned it officially for 8 yards. We'll clear all that up before we step aside here. And now this is Peyton Wilson favoring the left arm.
Remember, they lost Tanner Engel earlier. There's Peyton Wilson.
You know, James, as they attend to Wilson, if you're Duke, you got 19 seconds on the clock. You just watched your punter get it blocked and returned. So you do have some time to work with. And Wilson, he brought the right arm in there for the initial contact. And Mateo Durant had a head of steam as they collided, James.
Yeah, hopefully just a stinger. 11 covering some ground. See him shake it off. We love it. Some good linebackers in this game. Just shake that head, kind of shake out the cobwebs.
That's the way 44 for Florida did it back in 1996, winning a national championship. James Bates.
I wish I could cover ground like that guy. He's got some range to him, man. It's fun to watch, too. A lot of these guys. And, you know, figured it would be a pretty physical football game, and it certainly has been here in the first half. You're right, though, Tom. It's see if you can put a field goal, add 3 more to this, chip away a little bit. 19 seconds though left in this first half.
Bryce taking off and wisely angling out of bounds, and that was Wilson. And there are 2 markers, and now they're really jawing back and forth. In fact, that's Bobo stepping in. He's on the sideline. And I think Peyton Wilson and his defending may have been a bit overzealous. And Wilson's had a huge first half, 10 tackles, a tackle for loss, an interception, but maybe a slight lack of judgment there.
You know, that's just being nice, is to call it slight. I mean, Chase Bryce, he's not going to put his foot in the ground and go up there. He's lucky to get out to the sidelines alive, and then just to give him that extra shove when your team's just been penalized so much. I mean, he's still in bounds when he touches him.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, late hit out of bounds. Number 11, defense, half the distance to the goal, automatic, first down.
You know, so I guess it could be argued that he shoves him, he's still in bounds. You know, but it's the quarterback is in a sense giving himself up, but it's not rule-wise. It's not like he's sliding. He's coasting to go out of bounds. Still looks to be in bounds, and now so 15 yards tacked on. There's no hit to the head or anything like that, so you're not worried about Wilson being ejected. But man,
so now just 12 seconds left. And they put the ball there at the 14-yard line. They can get a first down at the 4. Do they have enough time? And Bryce tosses this one out of bounds and incomplete. And now the game clock is at 7 seconds.
you know what? It's a good job. I think it was Devin Boykin who's filling in for Tanner Ingle. They try to go to the backup. Tanner Ingle's gone. They try to make him bite on a pump underneath, and he won't do it. Stayed in position, covering his guy in the end zone and forcing Bryce to throw it out of bounds. Good job by the freshman filling in.
So with 7 seconds, you still want to preserve perhaps that field goal chance if you don't get it here. Here's Bryce on the run, diving for the 10-yard line. And they've got a timeout to use. There's also a marker out there.
I don't see. Where's the marker?
There's no flag on the play. Be third down. Duke, third and final timeout.
Okay, so that's the last timeout utilized by Duke. There was definitely a flag. I was looking right at it, but they picked it up. And now Charlie Ham, who's only missed once this season, has already made one from 46 yards, that in this quarter. He's a redshirt freshman kicker from Atlanta, Georgia. Man, they cut that awfully close, didn't they, James? And you still want to have a chance to go for a field goal because Ham has been reliable this season. Had to replace All-ACC kicker A.J. Reed, who made 15 field goals last year.
These are moments, too, where David Cutcliffe, when he's the head coach, he stands back and hovers above this. His offensive coordinator's calling the plays. And, you know, it's tough to juggle a lot of these situations while you're calling the plays as well. They do get the one tick left in a 29-yard attempt here for Ham.
Charlie Ham sends it on through. So he's 2 for 2. Field goals of 46 and 29 yards, and that one on the last play of our second quarter. So Duke with a lead over NC State of 20-14. A first half that featured not one but 2 block punts for a touchdown, one for each team. And it all adds up to 20-14. So the Blue Devils, for the second straight game, have the halftime lead. They converted it at the Dome a week ago for a victory. The first time they had a halftime lead all season last week. Let's go down to Lindsay.
Coach, a little bit of a breakdown there on special teams at the end of the half. How will you address that with your team?
Well, we went out there and went in a hurry on a cadence. We didn't correct the split, so we know what happened. We've already corrected it on the sideline. Not going to happen again.
Jake Bobo with some critical catches there at the end of the half, gets the touchdown. What have you thought of Jake so far today?
Well, Jake Bobo is a consistent player. He's a lot better player than people gave him credit for. Made a great catch for a first down earlier, and he's a good runner with the football as well.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Guys.
Lindsay, she's You're exactly right there talking to Coach Cutcliffe. 8 yards on the catch and run for Jake Bobo on the pass from Chase Price and the first TD of the season for Bobo. Dave Dorn looking at that scoreboard. His team trails. It's 2014. Halftime here in Raleigh. Teams haven't played since 2013. That was just a crazy first half. And Duke comes away with the lead by 6. Halftime is straight ahead. The bone belongs to NC State. The lead belongs to Duke. Welcome to your local Toyota dealer halftime report from Carter-Finley Stadium, Raleigh, North Carolina. A couple of special teams plays, one by each. The Blue Devils and the Wolfpack. Block punts for touchdowns. Wild first half. We'll have more for you coming up a little bit later in our halftime. But coming up in just a moment, Ted Brown, the all-time leader in rushing in the ACC. Lindsey Rowley had a chance to chat with him. And we'll have that for you coming up in just a second here in our halftime report, brought to you by your local Toyota dealer. Ted Brown running in an NC State uniform. Lindsey talks to him when we come back. This is ACC football. '14 Duke, your local Toyota dealer halftime report. Told you about Ted Brown, the NC State Wolfpack legend, who was the all-time leader in rushing. Travis Etienne closing in on him as he went by Dalvin Cook today in the big win against Georgia Tech for the Clemson Tigers. And for more on Ted Brown, down to Lindsey.
Thanks, Tom. That's right. Round these parts, Ted Brown is nothing short of a legend. I got a chance to speak with him yesterday on the potential of his long-standing record being broken.
Well, Ted, first of all, we really appreciate you taking the time. You've held the ACC all-time rushing record since 1978. Are you at all surprised that the record is held so strong for 42 years and still going right now?
Yes, a little bit surprised, but it's a whole different era right now, the way they play. And they do a lot of stuff from the shotgun, the quarterback never on the center. Not very many schools have a running back that gained 1,000 yards or 2,000 yards or whatever the case may be, and they stay in school for 4 years. So, I mean, that helped it to be able to have it that long. But it's still a pretty good feat, seeing that it's been about 40-some years. And, you know, it's high time it needs to fall.
Well, speaking of which, Clemson's Travis Etienne is just 173 yards from breaking your record. What are your thoughts on Travis potentially being the one to surpass your long-standing record?
Well, I don't know very much about Travis, but from what I've seen on TV, he seemed to be a humble kid, and everybody I talked to about him says he's a humble kid, and it couldn't happen to a better guy. I mean, he tried to stay 4 years. He didn't go chase the dollars. He came back to school. I hope he gets his degree. And sure, I would like for it to happen to one of my NC State alum people, you know, that from NC State. But that's not going to happen. Maybe in the next, 42 years, they'll get somebody at State to break his record.
Yeah, you never know. Well, speaking of NC State, take me back to when you were at NC State. What are some of your favorite memories from being a part of the Wolfpack?
Well, you're playing in front of the fans. We had some of the best fans in the world, in the country. So those guys, the guys and girls and the student body, they cheered for us. You know, they was diehard. And also, it's a little humor to this is that when we played against Clemson, I pretty did okay against them. I made 227 yards and 4 touchdowns. Clemson would be one of my favorite teams to play back in the day. But now that they got all this talent, I don't know if I really want to go up against them. But back then, they wasn't as good as they are now. But, it was fun just playing in front of the fans. It was fun to go into other hostile environments like Clemson. Like they call it Death Valley. We was so much alive when we was there. And places like Penn State, who had the #1 defense in the country, and our offensive line blew them off the ball for 251 yards and that kind of stuff. So those times was very, very great. Those great times to be a Wolfpack, great times to be a running back because they ran the ball a lot. and I enjoyed it.
Ted, we really appreciate you taking the time. Thanks so much, and enjoy your time relaxing.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much for having me on, and congratulations to ETN. It'll probably be 1 week, but maybe 2. So we'll look forward to that. And when it happens, I take my hat off to the young man because he's been a model student and football player.
Well, we'll see. Thanks again, Ted.
All right. Thank you.
Such an amazing experience to be able to speak with the legendary Ted Brown. All right, stay tuned on the other side. We're going to take a look around the ACC.
This is your local Toyota dealer halftime report around the Raleigh campus here at NC State, with the Pack trailing the Blue Devils 2014 at halftime. Very cool conversation with Ted Brown, giving all the credit to Travis Etienne. And look at Clemson, James. How about 34 in a row in the regular season, winning on the road in Atlanta?
73-7, and Etienne put the ball on the ground. It's unlike him early on, just 44 today in that lopsided win. And Pitt and Miami went at it. Miami winning, Syracuse falling to Liberty. Trouble with stopping the ground game again. And how about this? This is late. It looks like Notre Dame's going to hang on. But Louisville, who gave up last week 46 points to Georgia Tech, lost 46-27 in Atlanta, playing a tight one there against Notre Dame. Speaking of tight ones, how about Virginia and Wake Forest? Got some good ball being played.
Yeah, and the Irish have won 21 straight at home. Special teams a big part of this first half. Dorian Mausi picked it up off the block from Isaiah Fisher-Smith and took it in. Duke by 6 at halftime. Blue Devils have the 2014 lead, moments away from the start of the second half. And just a moment ago, Lindsey Riley catching up with Dave Doran.
Coach, Duke's running game was quite the concern coming into today. So far, how would you assess your defense?
I think they're playing really hard. I mean, we just got to cut these penalties out. 8 penalties for 100 yards is the difference in this game right now. So we got to be disciplined.
You took the words out of my mouth. 8 penalties. Was there a message to the team in particular that you had here at half?
Yeah, I mean, you can't beat anybody if you beat yourself, and that's what we're doing right now. So we just got to slow that stuff down and play the way that we're coached to play.
Thanks, Coach.
You're welcome.
Guys?
Lindsey, thank you. So Coach Doran immediately going right to the penalty situation. It cost them on that last drive. Jake Bobo with the touchdown catch and run from 8 yards away from James Price. And here we are, James, with Duke got in front at halftime.
Yeah, it's tough because they're getting what they wished for, NC State, from their players. Let's be more physical. Let's go out there, and you can see them defensively. They're hustling around, but you've got to be smart. You've got to be disciplined. Like you said, the 8 penalties are crushing them right now. And, of course, the 2 turnovers. So whoever takes care of the football and takes care of the penalties, cuts down the sloppiness in the second half, could win this tight one.
Time for the Reese's game summary. First half, Duke and NC State haven't played since 2013. And here are the numbers on our Reese's game summary, James. And the Blue Devils, again, piling up the plays. They did that at Syracuse last week as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And the first downs, and with that comes time of possession. 17 minutes, 15 seconds. The one drive was about 7 minutes. That 89-yard drive there late. And then you talk about the 8 with NC State. The flip side, just 1 for the Duke Blue Devils. NC State, though, will get this football to start the second half and a chance to go down there and take the lead.
Yeah, Duke had 16 plays on that drive that you're referencing, James, in the first half, as Knight is the deep man for NC State. They kicked it away to start the game. As James said, they'll get the ball to start the second half. David Cutcliffe's team for the second straight week, and the only 2 times so far this season, halftime lead. See what they can do with it. 1-4 on the season. The win was last week at Syracuse, 38-24. NC State's won 2 in a row, and both on the road in the ACC. That'll go into the end zone. Knight will not field it. So the Pack on that very first possession had the block punt by Mausi. 32-yard return after Isaiah Fisher-Smith deflected it. So a couple of turnovers there, James, in that first half in the punt block.
Yeah, it's not as pretty as you'd like. It's not the way it felt for this guy in his first start a couple weeks ago against a very tough Pittsburgh football team. But here's a chance to drive it right down and take the lead, start the second half.
Yeah, Leary threw for 336 yards in that win at Pittsburgh. Had 4 TD passes, those 336 yards for Leary, a career high. As he'll start with the ground game to get it rolling here in our third quarter. So glad that you are with us. Tom Wormy, James Bates, Lindsey Riley's on the sidelines as the temperature dips just a little bit, about 60 degrees as we started the afternoon at 3:30 Eastern. Going to run it again to third and manageable. Ricky Person Jr. runs into Chris Rumpf, number 6. Blue and white. He'll trot to the sideline. Immediately the helmet comes off too as he doubles over. So third and short for NC State. Four for 6 on third down in the game. That's Leary who still has the football. Needed that 35-yard line. Rocky Shelton on the tackle, James.
4th and 1. I don't think there's much of a question here. I think you punt it away. But they're going to send Leary up to the line. 4th down.
They thought about it late in the first half and tried to draw Duke offside. Then they'll go with the sneak to the 35, Devin Leary.
This is going to be close. Looks like it's right on it, doesn't it?
The indication is first down. I guess they had a much better look at it than we did because the chains are moving.
Wow. Roll up your sleeves. See Duke going down low, trying to get that low pad level. And that offensive line firing off just enough for Leary to charge behind. So rolling the dice a little bit, and it pays off as the offense stays out there on a 4th down and short.
Leary. Ball on the turf. Duke says it has it. Drew Jordan. He's got the football for the Blue Devils, and a flag comes out late, and there is an NC State player down as well. 2 flags. So Tyrone Riley is the player down, number 55. There's also a flag near midfield.
Unsportsmanlike conduct, number 8 for Duke. Took his helmet off in the field of play. 15-yard penalty will be assessed after the first down. It'll be 1st and 10. Duke's ball.
All right, looks like all 4 of those flags were for that reason. It's Tangelo. Leary's losing the football before he's even hit as he tried to tuck it away. And there's Jordan, who backs up Chris Rumpf, who we just saw go to the sidelines a few plays prior. And there's your flag coming out as Derek Tangelo tries to rock on over to the sidelines. Damage is done, though. It'll be 15 yards back the other way, but Tangelo with the sack. And Jordan with the fumble recovery, and that's the 3rd turnover of the game for NC State. So finally able to get on top in the turnover battle is this Duke team. And man, they just give up a 4th down and 1 chance to get off the field. Instead, they'll wait to the very next play and get it on the sack and fumble.
NC State, James, had 4 turnovers on the season coming into this game. Duke was averaging about 4 turnovers per game to start this contest. So it is a reversal of fortune. No question about it when it comes to turnovers for these teams today. Bryce with the football. What a fake. Down to the 15. Get him at the 16 or so. Isaac Duffy made the tackle, but once again, Bryce has plenty of room to run.
3rd time today they've run this, and it's the right read, and then some. I mean, nobody on the field thinks that Chase Bryce is going to tuck this ball and go. They've had so much success the last couple weeks. Duke has on the ground. Everybody keying on Jackson to make sure they know where number 8 is after he runs that one down inside the 20. Wow.
Bryce had 24 yards on that run into the red zone.
He'll have to leave inside the CPI red zone. It's one thing to let a Jeff Sims or the like run wild on you, but Chase Bryce, you got to account for him. You can't just leave a guy with the football in his hands unaccounted for, and it's happened too many times here today, selling out to stop that run, and they've done a good job on it with the running back, but you got to watch that quarterback as well.
Jackson plows into the line in the CPI security red zone.
You know, and it's one thing, too, Chase Bryce, you can tell he's well coached because even when he hands off that football in the middle of a drive, every time he's sprinting out, he's carrying out that fake. So it's not anything new. When he does go running that way, everybody thinks, well, that's just what he does every time, but he just so happened to have the football in his hands. So stiffening a little bit right here, forcing a 3rd down and 6 now as this Wolfpack D.
3 for 10 on 3rd down. Bryce improvising. Move at the 10. Took the contact beyond the 5 and then gets to the 5. Inside of it, down to the 4. Chase Bryce. Some punishing running. Who got the worst of it, though, as Bryce is just a little bit shaken up.
Punishing on us, it's hard to watch. It's not pretty, but it's working. Hey, we'll take it, number 8, Duke fans say. There's like bumper cars in there, but just fighting enough to make his way to the 1st down and move those chains. Now it's a 1st down and goal inside the 5-yard line against a defense, mind you, that has had 2 big goal line stands the last couple weeks. So it's not a done deal from right here by any stretch of the imagination.
Bryce got 9 yards. 1st and goal. Deion Jackson. Not a lot of room. Duke is 3 for 4 in the red zone today. 1 yard for Jackson.
Big Aleem McNeil, watch him right there in the middle. Watch him take on Barton. Gap control, gap control. See, he's not in on the tackle, but that's his gap. That gap on his right side, he's going to go take out that gap, and then he's got guys that are filling. The linebackers on the next level, they're right there to fill that hole, and that's why they've been so good down near the goal line. Forcing a 2nd and goal after that short game.
Closing in on 10 minutes to go in the 3rd. Jackson, right side near the goal line, just short of it, about the 1 or so. For Deion Jackson.
It was close. Elbow is down. It's a good call. Inside the 1-yard line is Peyton Wilson, who's been all over this field here in the 1st half and the start of the 2nd half. Running guys down from the 1 now as they give him a chance to bring some guys in defensively to match them offensively with the substitutions.
3rd and goal. Bryce hands it off to Jackson. There's no gain on that play. So now it's 4th and goal.
There you go, trying to make it 3 goal line stands in the last few weeks. Big time. Getting stingy down there near the goal line. Let's see if they can do it one more time. Tony Gibson, the defensive coordinator, has got him fired up near the goal line. Big C.J. Clark, Aleem McNeil. Joshua Harris has been huge in this package as well. 4th down and goal.
Both victories on the road on those 4th down stands. Bryce is going down through an incomplete pass. NC State had the play diagnosed, and it's another goal line stand for the Pack.
Great job defensively being aware. What has burnt you so many times here today? It's that quarterback keeper. Not this time around. And there's the guy who blocked the punt just moments ago, Levi Jones, with the big old stop. Wolfpack, 1 more goal line stand. How's this for a goal line stand? Look at the big guys there inside. We saw plays from guys like Terrell Dawkins. There's Peyton Wilson. Isaiah Moore getting in there as well in the last play by Levi Jones to shut it down. First play from scrimmage is going to go incomplete, intended for Parham. That's got to fire you up as a football fan. As you know, in this day and age of the NASCAR offenses going end zone to end zone. Look at Tony Gibson. You know, he's fired up. West Virginia guy, defensive coordinator. But see guys flying around, hitting in goal line stands, man. That's Eddie Shore hockey right there, Tom.
Old-time hockey. 24 years in coaching for Tony Gibson, defensive coordinator at West Virginia from 2014 to 2018 from his own end zone. Leary, that's a floater at the 30 and caught. Devin Carter never took his eyes off that one. The reception for 88 in red. 30 yards on the play, James Bates.
Just put it up there for him. Big 6'4" Devin Carter. And I think Leary may have even been hit as he's throwing this one. Looked like his arm got hit. I don't know that it did, but he launched it up there. And 88's going to find a way to track it down. You got a couple stumbling defensive backs in the secondary. But again, you got to back it up with some consistency. Get back over the ball, get something going. Good to see Chris Rumpf back out there.
It's a loss of 6 on the play by Chris Rumpf. Jordan Houston was the ball carrier. Rumpf and Dimukeji had the pressure on the previous play as Leary threw it from his own end zone to Devin Carter. He's the leading receiver today, James. 3 catches and 62 yards for Devin Carter. Pressure on Leary, standing tall but misfiring. Fans in attendance wanted a flag. They're not going to get it. Thayer Thomas was the NC State player.
And Marquise Waters came underneath trying to make a play on that ball. There's the end of it, and you see the hands on hands, and one hand on the back is what they saw here, and wanted the flag thrown. They won't get it though, so it's a 3rd down and 16 now.
NC State hasn't converted a 3rd down this season in the 3rd quarter. 0 for 13. Seems impossible. Will they get this one? What a catch near the 45-yard line. Thayer Thomas. There's a flag behind the play, James.
There's one in the secondary on the other side of the field as well. What a pretty ball. They're just sitting there waiting. Got to have some time and help yourself out with some time on that.
2 fouls on the play. Holding offense number 54. Holding defense number 26. Those penalties offset. Replay 3rd down.
Well, the defensive holding was way up top on the other side of the field and really had nothing to do with the play to offset. So unfortunate if you're a Duke fan right there and you're going to get another chance at it. And what a shame if you're an NC State fan, because that was a pretty throw by your quarterback. You had to buy a little bit of time for it to develop for Thomas to get all the way over there. So let's see it again. 3rd down and 16 now.
Leary has to escape that crumbling pocket, being chased by Dimukeji. Leary short of 40. So now 4th down.
This Wolfpack quarterback, man, he's got some fire to him. He's the kind of guy that fires up his offense, his team, scrapping, trying to get up to that 1st down stick, and he's just a little bit shy, just a couple yards shy. They needed 16. He got 14, so that punting unit out there one more time. Remember, first time out there, it was a block, scoop, and score for Duke. So they got to get that cleaned up.
Gill punts it. Robertson waits. Coming up to it, short of the 25, leaps over the 30. And rolls forward close to the 35-yard line on the return by Robertson. Tackled by Mims. Pack trails the Blue Devils 2014.
Welcome back. Duke leading NC State. Well, usually NC State's running backs coach Kurt Roper and Duke's offensive coordinator Zach Roper start their week off by texting each other about the upcoming opponent. But this week was a little different. The two brothers are used to being on the same sidelines as they both used to coach for Duke, but they're in uncharted territory this week, being on opposite sidelines. They're actually living in the same neighborhood as they live so close. Their families are extremely close, and they both have 2 children. So the cousins and wives spend a lot of time together. I spoke with Zach earlier this week, asked him if there was anything riding on the game, any bets or anything. He said, no, but I will tell you there's some serious trash talk happening between our sons.
Oh, that's special that they can be so close together, yet that doesn't happen, that they can, the two families. I mean, just that's what you get when you're right here in the triangle. And Kurt Roper, by the way, actually spent 17 years of his coaching career working with Coach Cutcliffe. So a lot of close ties. That's neat.
Yep, coached together at Ole Miss and at Duke, both up in the coaches' box here at Carter-Finley Stadium. Durant on the carry, ran into Wilson. A couple of brotherly love stories today. Wilson was a part of the first one we told you about, his older brother Bryce pitching for the Braves, and then the Roper connection.
You should see, you enjoy watching Bryce Wilson strike guys out. You should have seen him take them out as a linebacker. I watched his highlights earlier today getting ready when he was a high schooler. Good football player as well.
Pass complete to Noah Gray. So Gray with the catch for the senior from Leominster, Massachusetts. It's a significant catch for Gray. He now has the all-time lead in catches by a Duke tight end. So Noah Gray needed 2, and he got them. And that's the 18th straight game. 2 or more catches for Noah Gray.
23 catches, leading receiver Gray on the season. And he's as healthy as he's been in a while. Played through a lot of injuries the last couple of years.
Hit as he threw. Up in the air. Intercepted at the 40. Peyton Wilson has his second pick of the game.
Mom and Dad fired up.
Drake Thomas hit the arm and celebrate with that turnover bone.
2 for him, going to sign it twice here today, and there's Drake Thomas. Just as that ball goes back, it doesn't go far, very far forward, and that ball seemed to hang up there forever. And the big long arms of Peyton Wilson going to pull it in. Mom and Dad are fired up. PSA here in Carter-Finley, they just said, do not high-five each other. But when Mom and Dad, when you're in the same house, you can, right?
I would think so, James. Probably best to adhere to whatever announcements are made within the stadium. The Wilson day, James, 13 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, couple of interceptions, 3 now for his career. Now I don't mean to bring this up in a negative light, but he did have a personal foul as Bryce was running out of bounds. But that's just part of the overall body of work today for Wilson in that secondary as the linebacker position. That's right, exactly, especially in 2020. Near the 40, incomplete. That ball came out at the very tail end of the play as Porter Rooks tried to haul it in for the freshman from down the road in Charlotte, North Carolina.
It's one thing that stands out about the freshman wide receiver Rooks is if it's out there, he's going to go get it. He's going to sacrifice his body. A couple times in that Virginia game, he had the 3 catches. A couple of them were acrobatic, and the one that it looked like he caught, but they overruled, would have been a touchdown. So this one's going to fall to the ground. And a 3rd down and 8. Leary and the offense trying to do something with that big turnover by Peyton Wilson.
Looking for a 3rd down conversion for the first time in this quarter for the season, and they got it tonight. Tonight and tonight.
The nighttime is the right time. Wow. Again, another beautifully thrown ball, a wheel route so tough to cover.
Well, we got 20 on the previous toss. This down by the 5. It's another catch. Emeka Emezi. That's all there is to it. First to goal at NC State. 4 catches for Emezi, and that one went for 36 yards.
2 money throws and great catches by this offense. Quickly over the football, going to try to punch it in.
Leary over the middle to the end zone and caught. Carry Angeline for the Wolfpack touchdown.
So right on the heels of the wheel route catch, there's a Mezzi. Little bit of a boost. Push off, no flag. Nice catch by a Mezzi. And they're quickly over the football with the tempo. The play pass to Angeline. Great big 6'7" tight end with nice soft hands and good target for Leary. Tie it up and take the lead.
Second game in a row that Angeline has caught a TD pass from his quarterback Devin Leary. And NC State drives it down and takes the lead. It's first of the day with 4:01 to go in the third. Pack in front by 1. NC State, James, marches it down the field. Leary on target. First he finds Knight. These are the Jimmy John's freaky fast plays.
Couple dimes dropped in there. First to Knight, then to a Mezzi, and then the tempo. Everybody up there set. Quick strike to Angeline, and just like that, the Wolfpack, their first lead of the day at 21-20. 5 plays didn't take very long, just over a minute to punch it in. Sophomore, some nice looking throws. It all started with that nice wheel route. Good catch by Zonovan Bam Knight. And of course the one by Mezzi falling on his back as well down near the goal line.
They moved it 60 yards in 3 plays for the touchdown to take the 21-20 lead. 5th catch for a touchdown of the season for Angeline. The 8th TD toss by Devin Leary. Leary had 4 touchdown passes in the win at Pittsburgh. The sideline for the Pack is jumping, and for good reason. They've survived those turnovers as well, James. They have turned it over 3 times, and Duke has only produced 3 points from those turnovers.
How big was that last turnover, though, by Duke? Peyton Wilson interception after the Drake Thomas pressure.
Career high 14 tackles for Wilson. There will not be a return on this kickoff. Duke had the halftime lead. NC State has forged ahead with 4:01 to go in the third quarter. Bryce has a chat with David Cutcliffe. Chase Bryce on the day, 15 of 25, just 110 yards, the touchdown, and a couple of interceptions. The last one resulted in a TD drive from NC State as Wilson got his second INT.
Keep the heat on him defensively. Stay aggressive, but remember, discipline. Don't give them any cheap penalties like the first half.
That was almost going to be a loss for Mateo Durant, who got away at the last second to get back to the line of scrimmage. Isaiah Moore, number 1, the junior, Chester, Virginia on the play.
Getting in on that turnover game against Virginia. Moore had the fumble recovery. Back there to get the first piece of Durant anyway.
Second down for Bryce. Dennis Smith looking for some blockers. Not quite to the 30. Drake Thomas, sophomore, number 32, making the tackle for NC State. Here we go, third down. For 12 for Duke on third down of the game. Those edges start to bend around Chase Bryce. He throws an incomplete pass looking for Noah Gray. Isaac Duffy there. And with 3 minutes exactly to go in the third, it's the punt team for Duke.
Well, they had the matchup that would seem to favor Duke. 6'4" Noah Gray, the 5'9" defensive back Isaac Duffy, who's in there for Jakeem Harris, who's out with the targeting call. Great job by the sophomore from Binghamton, New York, upstate New York, there to knock it away. Good coverage and a nice 3 and out.
Wilson gets that one away cleanly. Thomas will allow it to bounce inside the 30 and about 26 or 7. That's where the Blue Devils down it, trailing by 1, 2:50 on the game clock. NC State with an impressive drive in their last possession. 3 plays in a row, James. They went for 20 yards, 36 yards, both on pass plays, and then the 4-yard TD toss into the end zone to carry Angeline.
Well, using Bam Knight a little differently here today. Ricky Person has really been the horse in the backfield. It was Bam Knight late in that game that really helped seal the deal. 18 carries, 100 yards on the ground, 2 touchdowns for Knight. That time it was the big wheel route, the first of those 3 catches.
Pressure coming. Leary gets hit. Rumpf found a way to the quarterback and dropped him.
Pops is a defensive line coach. Chris Rumpf's dad with the Texans in the NFL. He said, I talked to my dad, and he says, you keep leaving those sacks out there. You got to finish those sacks. This is how you finish. Number 6 getting there with some authority. Papa's got to be proud of that one. What a big loss of 8 yards. Captain of this defense.
4.5 sacks now on the season for Rumpf. This run goes second level and past the 30. Dragging Duke players is Ricky Person. 6'1" and a solid 215. Out of Heritage High School in Wake Forest, North Carolina, Ricky Person.
Man, what a run. Looks like he's going to be stopped right at the line of scrimmage. He's going to cut it back and outrun a couple of these guys and then drag the rest of them for another 8 yards or so. Second down and forever, 3rd down and 1.
Person got 17. And he slipped down, but he had gotten the first down before losing his footing. Waters kept him down. 1:30 and counting to go in the 3rd. Person now with 14 carries for 88 yards, far and away the leading rusher today for NC State. James told you he ran for over 100 yards a week ago in the win at Virginia on 18 carries. Had a 35-yard TD run against the Cavs as well in the winning effort for Ricky Person. Knight, rather. And he is the back. Big hit at the 40. Flags are out. Lummy Young came up to hit the quarterback. Leary slow to get up.
Personal foul. Red target. Number 23. Defense. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. The previous play is under further review.
And this is absolutely the right call. Leary gives himself up by going into the slide. You've got to pull up now, and he's going to target the head. Lummy Young, who missed the Virginia Tech and Boston College games with an injury. It certainly looks like this will stand, and so he'll miss the important rest of this football game and then the first half of next week. But when that quarterback goes into that slide, you've got to pull up.
So Young on the hit. It's being reviewed. The targeting. Leary still shaken up and down. His day is 14 of 24 through the air and 194 yards. 1 TD pass to Angeline, 1 interception. And Bailey Hockman, the junior from Powder Springs, Georgia, and the transfer from Florida State, is now loosening.
It was Hockman that started the Wake Forest and Virginia Tech games. There's one more look at it. Tough shot on a tough kid. And Devin Leary, but just protecting these quarterbacks. Let's hope he's okay.
So they're continuing to work with Devin Leary. Still down for the moment, late here in the 3rd, and his team up 21-20 as we check on the status with Leary. So you can see that they've stabilized the left ankle and lower leg for Leary, given the thumbs up, but being carted off after the hit from Lummy Young. And his targeting review was confirmed. So Young disqualified, and also for the first half of the next game for Duke, which will be against Charlotte on October 31st at home in Durham.
For a while there, I thought they were checking his head, his upper body. You know, it's you don't want to see anybody dinged up, but it's a relief to just see that ankle cast on right there. Hopefully he's okay. Here goes Hockman now running the show.
Yep, third game seeing action for Hockman. He's thrown for 273 yards and a touchdown in action so far this season. So late here in the third, NC State with the football and leading by a point. Hockman's pass. Near the 20's incomplete, but a flag comes out. The flag on the play looked like he was looking for Devin Carter, 88.
This could go against the offense if he tried to push off there.
Pass interference. Defense, number 39. 15-yard penalty. First down.
Won't be the case. Jeremiah Lewis, who's been fighting that matchup the whole way through. Won a couple, but he's lost a couple as well, and losing this one via the penalty flag. So that ball goes to the turf, but the penalty flag coming out and a fresh set of downs for the Wolfpack. There you see he's got a hold of that jersey.
.23 seconds on the game clock. Ball at the 23 of Duke. Hockman, trick play. They throw it back. Nearly intercepted at the 5. Interesting call this juncture in the game. There's a Duke player who's down. That's Marquise Waters.
Injured Duke player.
So with 17 seconds to go on the razzle-dazzle that did not materialize, Waters is down.
Well, here's another look at it. Good job defensively to be awake. Ricky Person actually threw a touchdown on a jump pass, first game of the season against Wake Forest. Duke's ready for it. Almost picked it off. There's Marquise Waters. They've already lost Lummy Young to the ejection, the targeting call, and here's a big-time playmaker, the senior safety, Marquise Waters.
So good to see Waters up and walking off under his own strength. This game has really never found a rhythm per se this afternoon. And we've had the momentum go back and forth. We've had a couple of block punts for touchdowns. I mean, what's next, James?
It makes for an interesting broadcast. You know, I guess when you don't have a dog, a wolf in the fight anyway, for us, it makes it interesting. If it's your team, I can imagine how frustrating it must be when you can't find any sort of rhythm. But it's had a little bit of everything.
The only points have come from NC State so far in this third quarter. TD pass. Leary to Angeline. 17 seconds. Billy Hockman is in there. Good play fake. Pass down near the 10 and caught. There's Angeline. Just mentioned him in his touchdown catch, 5th of the year. And will that be the final play of the quarter on 1st and goal at the 9-yard line? And it will. Okay, so 21-20. First score. We're headed to the 4th quarter. Dave Doran's team has that slim 1-point lead. And we welcome you to the 4th, brought to you by our friends at Midas. Tom and James from our perch high above the field here at Carter-Finley Stadium. As we head to the 4th, James, What do you make of this? We've got a 1-point game. This is a football game, people.
Hey, for a broadcast crew, it's fun. It's interesting. There are all kinds of things going on. You're juggling block punts, trick plays, some excitement. But unfortunately, there have been some injuries, too. And let's hope Devin Leary's okay, because he was really starting to shine for this North Carolina State offense. And to get him banged up and a targeting call as Lummy Young ejected from the game. And we've had a couple ejections now already. Hopefully he's okay, as he's got that the boot on his left ankle.
Yeah, they put the brace. You can see the brace there on the left ankle as he gets carted off. But he did give the thumbs up. But prior to that series, he had engineered a great drive to put NC State in front. So we thank you for watching the fourth, brought to you by your friends at Midas. 1-point game. Ready to start the fourth, 21-20. NC State with the only scoring in that third quarter. Red zone TD to Angeline for NC State. For Duke, this is defensively, the fourth is their worst. They've given up 51 points. That's more than any other quarter this season for the defensive unit. And here's NC State in the red zone. They're 2 for 2 in this game. In the red zone, Bailey Hockman is the new quarterback. In for Devin Leary. Out with the injury to the ankle and carted off. Hockman, lefty looking left into the end zone, almost intercepted, and then a one-handed grab for a touchdown. Braced against the helmet by Thayer Thomas. James Bates, have you ever seen anything like that?
The craziness continues right on into the fourth quarter. Looked like it was going to be an interception coming off the left hand of the new quarterback, Bailey Hockman. Breaking underneath it, Jalen Alexander. And it goes right through his hands and caught on the side of the helmet for Thayer Thomas. And it was a deal with Jalen Alexander where he almost jumped a little too soon and had to just wait on it to come to him and misjudged his jump. Goes through his hands, and how about the concentration by Thayer Thomas?
9 yards on the catch by Thomas. Christopher Dunn is now 100 for 100 on extra points. Through the hands of the defender, Jalen Alexander, and right to Thayer Thomas.
Wow, goes from, oh gosh, here we go again, to how about that? How about the concentration? Wow, the reaction. You can see it in that last shot. I mean, that is the cat-like reflexes to just see that ball deflected as it's changed direction, coming off of the defensive back's hands, and then to be able to snag it and pin it against the helmet, make sure you're in bounds. Oh, Thayer Thomas, he hasn't made a lot of noise here in this game. That's a big-time play right there. Give his pack an 8-point lead now.
First TD grab of the season for Thayer Thomas. Second TD toss for Bailey Hockman. By all rights, James, it should have been an interception by Jalen Alexander. He'd be the first to tell you that, I think, especially upon review of the replay. I mean, this is an overused word, unbelievable, but that was unbelievable.
Well, it should be, anything should be believable from here on out, because we've seen a little bit of everything.
It is 2020 after all, James Bates.
Yes, sir. No, it's 28-20. You look up on the scoreboard.
Yes, exactly. The return, Stinson. And yet, after all this, it's just an 8-point game. It's a touchdown and a 2-point conversion for Duke away. And this one just slipped through the hands of the defender.
Almost too easy. And look at it. Once he puts it on that helmet, immediately his concentration goes down to his feet. This is the angle I like. Watch this. When that ball deflects, watch. Wow. Wow.
I mean, he didn't even bother to bring the other hand up. He didn't need it.
Oh, he didn't have time. He didn't have the option.
Incredible. Pass to Noah Gray. Katie Wilson made the hit, and Gray is slow to get up. On what will be his 100th career catch for Noah Gray, but he's shaken up on the. He already set the tight end record in Duke football history with his previous grab. And so they'll attend to Noah Gray after he made that catch with his team trailing by 8. There's Noah Gray making his way off of the field, shaken up on the previous play, which was his 100th career reception. Catch number 99 made him the all-time leader in catches for a tight end at Duke, but Peyton Wilson is everywhere as he was all over Noah Gray, the senior from Leominster, Mass.
Look at him. It's all dirty, and you know, just grinding sideline to sideline. 2 interceptions there today, 14 tackles already, and a lot of meat on that bone. Still a lot of time in this 4th quarter. So far left is Tracy, mom, and there's Chad right there in the middle, dad. So we got it right there. Got to make sure we take care of them. They're traveling the globe watching the Wilson boys compete. Bryce Wilson, we told you earlier, over in Arlington, just dealing for the Braves. Pitched a 1-hit 6-inning game in the win, got the win the other night. So proud parents right now, that's for sure, having a good week.
We still have plenty of football to play as Deion Jackson is on the carry. Peyton Wilson, another tackle. It's 15 now for Wilson. His team up by 8. They took Noah Gray over to the medical observation tent on the Duke sideline. Here's 3rd and 3.
Goes without saying, this is a big one right here. NC State just owned the football the whole 3rd quarter. Want to try to stay on the field.
4 of 13 on 3rd down. They will not get this one. How about Dawkins? 0 right there for the roadblock. Drake Thomas, his teammate, also there.
Zero's the hero. Zero may have gotten their first look at him. Refusing to go down. There's Drake Thomas popping him the same time as Dawkins, but an excellent job by the big 6'4" defensive lineman Dawkins to not get cut. Don't let yourself get cut. He bends, goes down. It's tough for those big guys to be flexible, stay on their feet. He does just that, and Thomas, another youngster there to help out as well. There's a flag down.
Thayer Thomas is the return man. This one goes over near the Duke bench. Yeah, there's a flag too, so let's just re-rack this whole thing and see what the story is. Waiting on Gary Patterson.
Legal formation, kicking team. More than 4 players in the backfield. That penalty will be added to the end of the kick. 1st down.
Well, we have a second. Here's a message from Works.
Works Landroid robotic lawnmower. Enter to win at winalandroid.com. The future of lawn care is here.
That's your favorite one, right, James?
Yeah, I like the way it's just very agile. It makes that cut on that ball. He'd probably be a pretty good receiver, that Landroid. All right, let's see if Hawkman and company can keep it down now, put the hammer down. They dominated time of possession in the 3rd quarter. Scored here early in the 4th. Go back to the ground with Bam Knight.
Starting to get a little bit chillier as well, James Bates. 3 yards on the run by Knight, who went for 101 on the ground in the victory at Virginia. A couple of TD runs as well from Zonovan Bam Knight, the sophomore out of Southern Nash High School, Bailey, North Carolina. Hockman is in there, hands off tonight and around midfield. Maybe got to the Duke side of the 50, ran into Ben Fry.
Fry's had a good game right there in the middle. Those big guys up front with the single digits for the week after playing so hard against Syracuse. 3-6, 8-5. Throwing Dwayne Carter as well back there. Drew Jordan behind him.
I wonder if they'll keep those numbers depending on the outcome of this game, maybe. Trailing by 8. NC State's got the ball near midfield. Hockman runs out of the pocket. Gets tackled at the 48 of Duke. Jalen Alexander converging on the stop of Bailey Hockman. 6'2" and 200 pounds. Trenton Gill is already out there in punt formation. As Duke, that's a big defensive stand right there for Duke. James, get that ball right back and see what you can do with it.
Absolutely. Good job by the secondary there on the coverage, because it took a little bit longer than usual for those the front four to get there, but they finally drop them.
That'll sail into the end zone. Robertson was the deep man. So 28-20 here in the fourth, 11:18 to go. Duke will have the ball when we come back to Raleigh. Raleigh, North Carolina, fourth quarter. Tom Wormy, James Bates, Lindsey Raleigh on the sidelines. The Wolfpack has built an 8-point lead here in the fourth. Chase Bryce back out there consulting with David Cutcliffe. He's seen a lot of football in his day. What is in the bag of tricks this time around for these guys, James?
Well, it better be a little something. Just get out there and stay out there for a while. March down there and see if you can move this football, get some first downs. And one thing that stands out to me, the first half, the 8 penalties, the 100+ yards, penalty yardage for NC State, that hasn't been there here in the second half, so they haven't been aiding these drives of Duke. Duke hasn't been a real well-oiled, efficient machine. They've used special teams and penalties in the first half. They're not getting them right now. They're going to have to just go to work and do it on their own.
63rd play of the game for Bryce. Hit as he threw it, but that one is complete. Jarrett Garner finally getting in the mix.
There's McNeil on the pressure right up the gut. He puts a pop on Bryce. Bryce standing in there strong. He knows he's going to take a hit. Look at him splitting the double team, taking him down to the ground. That's a big pickup. Nice completion. And that's a receiver that they really want to take advantage of. The big body of Jarrett Gardner, 6'3", 210. 9th catch of the season.
They got 11 yards on the previous play. It's another catch. Jake Marweedy just short of the 40. They'll mark him at the 38 for Marweedy. In there for Noah Gray. You saw Gray got shaken up just a couple of minutes ago. Had to go to the sideline for the Blue Devils. That first down they got on the previous play, just their 4th of the second half. They had 14 first downs in the first half. Trying to get that offense jump-started. Swing it out to the open man. That is going to be an incomplete pass to Jackson. Maybe a little bit of frustration from Jackson after the play.
Absolutely, because he's got great hands. David Cutcliffe knows that. Wide receiver in high school until his senior year. Switched over to the running back spot, and we know what he can do on the ground, but he can also do damage when he gets the ball in his hands through the air. And now they're facing a 3rd down and 3. Showing pressure, this Wolfpack defense. They were walked up, looking, showing blitz. Let's see if they back out of it now.
From their own 38-yard line.
Here they come.
Bryce, touch on it near the 35. The ball bounces away from Pankow. When the officials are talking about it, I think they're saying incomplete pass altogether. So Pankow never had possession of it, but the officials did converge on that far sideline and talk about it. Because Eli Pankow almost came up with that grab.
There's a nice little throw, dropping it right in there. And that's a good call. I thought maybe when he hit hard on the ground is when it popped out, but it was on its way out even before that. And Isaac Duffy doing a great job of ripping it out and making sure he never secured it.
Thayer Thomas is deep. That'll bounce at about the 25, take a Duke bounce, and then go sideways and be stopped just inside the 20. There's a timeout on the field. Dave Dorn of the NC State Wolfpack with an 8-point lead against Duke. So Chase Bryce and the Blue Devils trying to get back into this physical football game. It's an ACC rivalry renewed. Teams haven't seen each other in 7 years, and they're taking out their frustrations on one another. And Chase Bryce and the Duke offense seeking some traction. You got the grass stains, the right tricep on the jerseys. The fabric is ripped. He's got the eye black going. Hasn't shaved in a couple days.
Got his Bama bangs mixed up. Just tough stuff. Larry, you saw the big hit on him. He's in the locker room getting that ankle looked at. And Bailey Hawkman will be up to him here the rest of the way tonight, at least, for NC State. They started the first 2 games of the season. Got a win against Wake Forest.
This is Person. Up the sideline. Ricky Person. Out of bounds. At the 30. Pushed out by Thompson and Alexander. Person does the damage.
What a big day for Ricky Person. Here he's going to do it through the air. Look at the big man leading the way. Ike Ekwonu and company. And, you know, guys on the defense just kind of letting up. Hey, someone else going to run him out of bounds. He's going to step out. That's not what number 8's thinking right there. The junior charging hard. There he does step out. It's like about the 30 or so. 28-yard line maybe.
Originally they had to play for 51 yards, but some of it is going to get chopped off of that total based on what we just saw. The plays under review with 9:40 to go in the 4th.
You know, this has happened to this defense a couple times this season. There are 2 plays against Virginia Tech where running back over near the sidelines, everybody just kind of assumes that someone else is going to drop him. He's going to step out of bounds, and they cut it up and run for about 15, 20 more. It's a fatigue thing, really, is what it seems to be. Let their guard down and upset right there, and justifiably so. The leader of this defense, the captain, Chris Rumpf.
ACC football is brought to you by Midas. The tires, brakes, oil, everything. Trust the Midas touch.
Back in Raleigh on the NC State campus. Night falls in Raleigh. 28-20 Pack leading the Blue Devils, and Person did in fact step out of bounds, so this play gets reduced from 51 yards to 14 yards. See the left foot there, James.
You see Icky down there.
Yeah, let's check in with Lindsay for a moment.
Well, guys, every NC State fan, I'm sure, is wondering about Devin Leary. I don't have a huge update for you, but he is out back on the sidelines. He was on crutches, but he's back out here. Certainly doesn't look like he's going to be out on the field anytime soon tonight. However, we are hoping that it's nothing serious for Leary.
Thank you, Lindsay. He does have the brace on that lower left leg and ankle and foot area. Hit by Lummy Young, and then Lummy was disqualified for a targeting foul, so he'll miss the first half of next week's game. Actually, it's going to be 2 weeks because they play October 31st against Charlotte. So NC State with the 8-point lead, and Bailey Hawkman in there in relief of Devin Leary, who did throw a third-quarter touchdown pass of 4 yards to Carrie Engeline. 8th TD pass of the season for Devin Leary. Bailey Hawkman also has a TD toss. He'll run and throw. Intercepted out of bounds by Waters. I'll tell you what, Jalen Alexander is going to be thinking about that play in the end zone for a long time.
Well, he is, but you know, in Bailey Hawkman, he needs to think about what he's doing here the rest of this game. That one's going to go out of bounds, but there's a lot of football left to be played. And one thing that you got to do, don't give this Duke football team the short field. Make them work. Don't turn it over right there in your own end. If nothing else, go 3 downs, punt it away. Don't help them out.
Shaka Hayward on the tackle of Person Jr. So the Duke defense trying to do its job and get the offense back on the field as we approach 9 minutes remaining in the 4th. Blue Devils shut out so far in the second half offensively. 6 of 12 on 3rd down in the game for NC State.
trying to draw him off sides with cadence. It worked against Pittsburgh, that's for sure. Pitt jumped off sides all day long. They haven't helped him so much defensively for Duke, though.
Hoffman trying to get out of the pocket, and he gets sacked. Dimukeji. And a loss on the play of 10 yards as Hoffman gets sacked by Victor Dimukeji, the senior.
We talked to his defensive line coach and co-defensive coordinator this week, Ben Albert. He said, don't let them hold you. Only babies are allowed to be held. And, you know, and there's every snap, there's an offensive lineman that's trying to grab a hold. Nobody's holding Dimukeji right there. He rips away that offensive lineman's hands and goes right after that quarterback and drops him. What a big sack for the big senior defensive end for Duke, trying to turn the tide.
Dimukeji now 20.5 sacks in his Duke career. This is Bobo. Picked it up on a hop. Can't get back to the 30-yard line.
These guys, after every play, you're a fan of one of these teams. If you're a college football fan, you'd like to see these two get together a little bit more. This has been entertaining.
So here's another chance now for Chase Bryce, the junior from Grayson, Georgia, transfer from Clemson. Numbers so far today, a little bit more productive in the Dome last week. As Bryce threw for 270 yards and a couple of TDs, used 9 different receivers for the 4th time this season. Likes to spread it around. He's going to have to run this one. Is another play. I thought maybe another flag might be coming out as Moore and Peyton Wilson, who has already been flagged for a personal foul.
See, but here's the deal. The hit earlier that he did have the flag thrown on him he was a lot further in the field of play than he was here. A little bit of a sell job there for Bryce. Glad they didn't throw the flag right there on him.
Bryce throws on the run. That pass complete. Marweedy in a little bit of a congested area as Marweedy got between 2 defenders for an 11-yard pickup and a first down as the clock continues to roll.
That's a nice throw and catch, and this is on the run, something that Chase has had a tough time with. Good job, good focus. Go up, pull it down, and tuck it away and secure it for a first down.
20 completions for 150 yards and a touchdown. Steon Jackson. So for that ground game, James, for Duke, we're just not seeing the explosive chunk runs that we did see last week between Jackson and Durant during the course of the game against the Orange.
Well, I think it's the linebacker play. It's, you know, it goes hand in hand too with the guys up front, and you've got such a good guy eating up blockers in Aleem McNeil, as we've got another injured player. It's Isaiah Moore, one of the linebackers for the Wolfpack, and there's last week versus today. But that doesn't surprise me at all after watching that game there in person and then turning on the tape with NC State. You know, as we talked about it this week and with the coaches, it's like, gosh, it's going to be surprising if Duke can have some success like they did against Syracuse last week, because this team is much more physical. They're stronger at the linebacker position, especially. You know, they've got some playmakers up there at Syracuse, but I don't know that they're necessarily built on that second level to really step up there and stuff the run. And then, of course, there's an Aleem McNeil, who is really he's an all-ACC type of defensive lineman without a doubt. And there are a lot of great defensive linemen on the field here today. A lot of them over on the Duke side as well. But good to see Moore pop up there. He and Peyton Wilson, the 2 spark plugs for this defense. Looks like he'll be okay.
Syracuse falling to Liberty today, 38-21 at the Dome. Wake Forest leads Virginia. That's in the 4th by 6. Clemson had a big win. We told you about that one. Miami beat Pitt. And Notre Dame 12-7 over Louisville. We'll see the Cards next week, James, as they host Florida State, which will play North Carolina, and that kicks off in about 40 minutes. This is Bryce taking the contact, putting the head down, and he slammed into the defender, Devin Boykin.
Well, Boykin, you know, there's some good young players on this defense as well, on this Wolfpack team. Boykin's one of them, just a freshman from Greensboro, North Carolina. Tony Gibson was his defensive coordinator.
Bryce wants to throw it. Intercepted. Interception, Jalen Scott. Returns it up near midfield, up to the 48. Jalen Scott with the interception. Third of the day for the Wolfpack.
That's one thing about these young Wolfpack players. You got guys like Tyler Baker-Williams who go down, who's been out, missed contact tracing. Joshua Pierre-Louis steps up, the freshman. Isaiah Moore just went down, the linebacker. Who's his backup? Right here, number 2, Jalen Scott. Knows exactly what to do, drops into his zone, watching the eyes of that quarterback, goes up and one-hands it to pull it in. Man, that's a heck of a play, and it says so much about this coaching staff defensively of having that next guy ready to go. Whoever needs to step up and make the play, they have done it quite a few times here this season.
First interception of the year for Jalen Scott, the sophomore. NC State had 3 picks as a team coming into the day. They've got 3 this afternoon and evening against Duke, against Chase Bryce. Duke says it owns the football.
Second down.
C.J. Riley there for NC State. It's going to be second down.
Quickly over that ball, ready to snap it away here.
Hockman got by the first wave. Spinning away. Trying to make something out of this play. And that's out of bounds. DiMurkeji was chasing him. You don't want Victor DiMurkeji chasing you for any reason. He has a sack in the game. James, he's going to be, in all likelihood, the all-time leader in career sacks at Duke when he finishes his career. He now has 20 and a half, and the school record is 22. Flag on the play.
Charles Bowser holds that record.
An eligible receiver downfield. Number 50, offense. Penalty is declined. Third down.
There's the guilty party. The center from Mallard Creek in Charlotte, Grant Gibson, the junior. So third down and 10. 5:47 left to go, and the defense needs to get off the field right here. Their offense another chance at it.
Over 100 yards and penalties in the game for NC State. It's Knight. Got through. Got inside the 40. Shaka Hayward made the tackle, but not before Knight gets the first down for NC State on the rush of 10 yards.
Hey, Seven didn't have the night tonight like he did last week in the win over Virginia on the road. But that right there, man, that's a big man run right there. It's an attitude run, as Coach Dave Doran calls it. And that right there is exactly what you need in moments like that. It was Ricky Person, the star of the show in the backfield tonight, but it doesn't get any bigger than that carry right there, running through tackles and not being denied.
Person's got 14 carries for 88 yards. This is Knight. How about back-to-back first down runs? Zonovan Bam Knight, sophomore from Bailey, North Carolina. 11 on the previous play. He gets 13 on this one.
That's a gain of 13 on the play, and
The big guys up front, and this is the closer, if you will. We've talked a lot about baseball, those playoffs going on. Talked about Bryce Wilson, brother of Peyton Wilson, dealing for the Braves, and the closer looks to be number 7 for Tim Beck in his offense right now anyway. Hungry over there on the bench. Keep feeding him.
First year for Tim Beck as the offensive coordinator for NC State. They go back to number 7.
One of the many great Youngstown boys from Youngstown, Ohio. Gosh, there's been some great coaches come out of the cradle of coaches, as they call it there.
Coach Beck, a former offensive coordinator at Ohio State and Nebraska.
Texas as well.
Devin Leary on the sideline. Had to leave the game with an apparent ankle injury. He was carted off, so at the very least, very good to see him back out on that NC State sideline supporting his teammates, trying to salt this one away. So here we go with 3rd and 3, and Duke, if they're going to have a chance, first they're going to call a timeout, then they're going to need the ball back.
And they're also going to need to try to get in there and block a field goal try. That would hurt him big time right now anyway. Down 8. 2-point conversion, tie it up for you. They need 2 tries at it if they can kick a field goal. Long one from here. First things first, you're right, you got to shut down Big Bam Knight, which hasn't been easy to do on this drive. So they talk it over with Bailey Hawkman. And remember, we showed you that shot of Devin Leary, who left the game after the big hit. It was Leary that was announced the starter in the spring by Dave Doran, and then due to contact tracing, he had to sit out at such an important time right on the eve of the season, and so they went with Bailey Hawkman, the starter in the opener against Wake, and then he started against Virginia Tech, and coming in mop-up duty, Leary goes 12 of 16, 2 touchdowns on 3 drives, looked great, started him against Pitt, and he just lit it up. Started against Virginia as well last week. And here we go, 3rd down and 3.
NC State timeout. 3rd and short. They've been perfect in the red zone tonight too, James. 3 of 3 and all touchdowns for NC State to establish the 28-20 lead with 3:49 to go in the 4th. Their starting quarterback Devin Leary had to leave with an injury in the 3rd. Hawkman has a TD pass, but it slipped through the hands of the defender. Thayer Thomas made a one-handed catch, braced against his helmet, as we check in with Lindsay on the sidelines.
Well, guys, it's certainly awesome to see all of the fans that are currently here in the stands. And you know, you wish the best for local businesses as well. I did a little bit of recon. One of the local restaurants around here, Amadio's Italian restaurant here in Raleigh, it was founded actually by former All-ACC NC State football player Amadio DeAngelis in 1963. The restaurant is just decked out in NC State memorabilia. I got a chance to speak with owner and general manager David Harris earlier this week. He said he misses the days when he had to overstaff on game days, but this year been a different story. I got to admit, guys, I looked at the menu. We got to head there right after the game.
Wow, looks good. Let's see how they look on 3rd down, Lindsay. Not going to get it.
No, Duke's defense is the one feasting. They're driving the ball carrier back. Rocky Shelton made the play. Players shaken up there for NC State. Hard to determine who that might be. It's person. Yeah, it's person.
Yeah, how about Lindsay calling recon, going and eating lasagna? I had to go try it out, make sure it was okay so I could do this. All right, here we go. So this is very big now. If they can drill this one through, a 2-possession game for Duke.
39-yard try, Christopher Dunn. Made one and missed 2 last week at Virginia. This one is good. How about his 49th career field goal? And it's a big one. 11-point difference now after the field goal. That's the punter, Trenton Gill, with the hold. Christopher Dunn comes through. He had been 4 of 6 on the season, James, prior to that attempt.
His couple misses last week were one he doinked off the crossbar. But close, it wasn't like they were ugly kicks. That was a pretty one right there. Getting it done. There's your game summary. For the 3rd downs, really picking it up. NC State tonight. Almost half of their 3rd down conversions. Turnover's still an issue for Duke and becoming an issue here for NC State today. They had done a pretty good job this season taking care of the football, but they really cleaned up those penalties in the 2nd half. That's been a huge difference, and Dave Doran was so upset as he talked to Lindsay going into the halftime locker room. Said he was going to get it straightened out, and he certainly did. Whatever he said to him, they've played a cleaner 2nd half. And they haven't aided Duke in some of these drives like they did in the 1st half. First half, it was silly how much they helped them. Over 100 yards of penalties in the 1st half on the 8 penalty flags thrown alone.
Only 3 points for Duke off of those 3 turnovers created against NC State, and now the lead is 31-20 with 3:17 to go. Last week, Dave Doran got career win number 50 as the NC State head coach with the win at Virginia. NC State had 4 takeaways in that game. They've got 3 tonight. Those 4 the most since 2017 for the NC State defense, as Bryce rolls out there again for Duke. Going to need to make this one happen very quickly, James. Look at that clock. 3:17 to go in our game in regulation. 5 receivers set for Bryce. Gets away from the initial pressure, then he gets dragged down. Loss on the play for Bryce. 2 yards back. Daniel Joseph, the 99 in red. NC State defense stout in the second half. Have not yielded a point yet. Bryce over the middle in stride. That's caught near the 40. Jake Bobo, very capable hands, making the catch and moving the chains, and a first down for Duke on the play by Bobo. Just beyond their own 40 for Duke. Bryce through the progression, back over the middle again. The result is the same. Right back to Bobo. 10 yards and another first down.
Why not? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Keep chopping away. And quickly over that ball as they reset those chains, but now under 2:20 here left to play.
5 catches for Bobo. Has those last 2. That's complete inside the 45-yard line. Mark that one around the 43. That's complete to Jalen Calhoun. 6 yards.
And right before that interception that they threw on that last drive, they were starting to really move the football through the air.
Bryce was pressured, got it away. And that's another completion of Bobo. Catch number 6 on the night. He has a TD as well from 8 yards out of the catch from Bryce. And having the second, and Bobo's tapping his helmet.
Yeah, he wants help. Bowman needs help as well. He's limping back to the line. He's going to stay in, but they'll got out of bounds at least, so they will get a little relief for the offensive lineman as well. 3 nice catches, though, on this drive here. 1:54 now left.
6 catches and 61 yards. He'll sit this play out. Bryce. Incomplete over the middle. That was Eli Pankow, the sophomore. Isaiah Moore defensively. Pankow's got just the 1 catch for 2 yards.
This is with the 2 high safeties, trying to make sure nobody's gonna beat him deep, which is most important. Keep everything in front of you. Just eating away at the middle of the field. And look here again, but nowhere to go but tuck it and run. Nice little pickup here for Chase Bryce. Going to have to onside kick it anyway, so one way or another, got to go get these points and try your luck on an onside kick. But it's been tough to come by in this second half, that's for sure.
Bryce got 12 yards on that run on the last play. He's going to get a lot less this time, if any. We'll give him 1 yard on the take by Bryce.
Calm this down and use a timeout. One of 2 remaining for Duke.
Duke started the season 0-4 for the first time since 2006, when they did not win a game. 0-12. Came back with a victory last week on the road at Syracuse. Had the halftime lead, but it didn't last. 1 of 2 interceptions from Peyton Wilson.
Yeah, and that was after a tough little start by NC State. They were trailing 20-14 at halftime. Remember, on that opening drive of the second half, Leary had the fumble, but it's pretty much been all Wolfpack since then. The ball's been bouncing their way, that's for sure. And there's the nice field goal and a little shimmy by Dunn.
Done good from 39 yards away, and you saw that catch by Thayer Thomas. Through the defender's hand and bracing it against the side of his helmet. Remarkable play in the end zone. And it's turning out to be an enormous play in this game as Duke has been shut out in the second half. Chase Bryce is up to 24 completions. That's a career high. Bobo has 6 catches. That's also a career high. 17 unanswered points by NC State. 1:30 to go. Bryce unloads it to the end zone, deflected away. Coming over to knock that one down was Boykin. Garner was the intended receiver in the end zone.
Boy, and Cecil Powell does a nice job of staying underneath. That's the only way Bryce had to put some air on that ball, because it was good coverage there by the former wide receiver, the cornerback. See, he's all over him like a blanket. And a nice job breaking on it and almost pulling it down by the freshman Boykin. 3rd down now and 9.
Bryce spun down. Could not find an option to throw it to. Dawkins got to the quarterback. Wilson involved as well. And now a timeout taken by Duke.
Boy, they were all coming right here. Nice play call here to bring the blitz and the pressure. It's there immediately, and well, they might have gotten away with a little one right there. All these flags that seem to go their way in the first half, they're not getting the help for Duke here in the second half as much. And so that very costly to take that sack right there, and now push you way back.
4th sack of the game for NC State. A 19 tackle night for Peyton Wilson and David Cutcliffe. They need some points. They need him in a hurry, and it's 4th down. Don't forget. Yes. So we're going to go to Louisville, James.
If I knew their chant or fight song, I would sing that, but we all know the chant.
You know, they fought Notre Dame today and lost 12-7. And then 3:30, we've got Virginia Tech and Wake Forest as well. So we've got a doubleheader of action for you next week. We'll start at Louisville. We'll end up at Wake Forest and Winston-Salem. So be sure to check your local listings for the game and time in your area. Can't wait to get to Louisville for Florida State. And Louisville, Florida State taking on North Carolina. And that'll start at the bottom of the hour. North Carolina, number 5 in the country. The ACC has 3 in the top 5, James.
Yeah, Mac Brown went to Florida State, but has never beaten the Florida State Seminoles as a coach. And you know, no moral victories, but you look at the way Florida State, after we had them Jacksonville State, they went and played tough against Notre Dame, and Louisville hanging tight with them there today. I'm anxious to watch that North Carolina-Florida State game a little bit, see if Jordan Travis and company can make it interesting for Florida State. So we certainly know they can score some points on the other side of the ball there. Sam Howell and UNC. Big try from 45 yards out for Hand, who already has 2 in this game.
He's hit from 46 and 29. And that one is no good. The miss from Charlie Ham is his first of the day, and just the second on the season for him. So a 45-yarder outside of the pipe. No good in the 4th, late with 1:12 to go.
I hope Leary's okay. A couple of these guys that got banged up here today. Hope they come out and it's not too bad. And what a fun game to watch. I know it wasn't the prettiest of games. I know it must have been a lot tougher if one of these teams is your team. It certainly was entertaining from up here in the booth. I mean, we had just about everything going on, all kinds of excitement.
Hammond made 8 field goals in a row prior to that miss. But it looks like Dave Dorn will get win number 51 as the leader of the pack as we go inside of a minute to go. In a first half that featured 2 block punt returns for touchdowns, 1 by each team. Devin Leary, the starter, injured in the 3rd quarter. Bailey Hockman comes on in relief, throws a TD pass to Thayer Thomas. Duke turned it over 3 times. NC State did as well. The teams hadn't played in 7 years. Duke had won the last 2, but this one in 2020 will go to Dave Dorn and NC State. 31-20 is the final. NC State's now 4-1 on the year, 2-0 at home. Duke drops this game. They go to 1-5 on the season.
And after that Virginia Tech game, the game that Coach Dorn and his team called embarrassing, and it wasn't just the game itself, but it was the practice, the intensity or lack thereof of intensity at practice that week leading up to the Virginia Tech game. Probably didn't surprise anybody within the program that they did get beat, and they made a promise to get more physical, and they certainly have. It's been a fun team to watch the last couple of weeks. They've won the next 3. Was that 3-game road stand. First it opened up with the loss to Virginia Tech, and then the win over Pitt, Virginia last weekend, and now a tough, hard-fought win over Duke. And guess what? Next week they get those UNC Tar Heels.
For the 110th meeting between those programs. Last season they played late November, and NC State lost at home against Carolina 41-10. So let's check in with Lindsay on the sidelines.
Hey Peyton, you had 2 interceptions today. How did it feel to raise that turnover bone twice?
And it's awesome to finally get some turnovers back in Raleigh. You know, last game we had 4 picks. This game we got a few. You know, thanks to Coach Gibson for getting some fire in our tail to go get some interceptions, some turnovers. You know, shout out to Drake on that second one, getting the quarterback. Is that right? Yes, sir.
A little bit of a photo bomb there, but hey, your defense able to keep Duke off the scoreboard in the second half. What do you think of the defensive effort?
Everyone had a great week of practice, and it shows. We love you. It shows we prepare well, we come out and play well. You know, if we play for each other, the man beside us, then we're going to be able to win.
Your brother Bryce, hey, he pitched one heck of a game on Thursday. Did that motivate you a little bit? You think he's watching the game in the dugout?
Yeah, always. He had a hell of a game, and I'm proud of him. Made me come out and try to outperform him a little bit, but yeah, he had a great game.
You did a good job. Thanks so much, Peyton.
Yes, ma'am.
Lindsay, thanks. 19 tackles. That's a good job for Peyton Wilson. And he had 2 interceptions as well. Let's go back to Lindsay.
Hey, Coach, at halftime, you told me you felt that your team was sort of shooting themselves in the foot. What improvements did you notice in the second half?
Well, we stopped penalizing ourselves. You know, we were doing a lot of extracurricular things. Guys are excited to play, and they got to learn how to play the right way. I was really happy with how they responded.
Well, you'd hate to see Devin Leary go down, but obviously Bailey Hockman, a good option. What did you think of the way that your team responded to that injury?
Yeah, I mean, it's disappointing. I feel for Devin. You know, I don't know the exact injury yet, but it's Bailey's opportunity, you know, and I know he'll be ready and guys will fight for him.
Overall, Coach, what did you think of the effort that your team had today and the way that they battled back from being down to start this game?
Yeah, I mean, really proud of them defensively. You know, losing both of our starting safeties during that game. Isaac Duffy-Webb, a walk-on that earned a scholarship here, played the whole second half, played incredible for us. Devin Boykin breaks up a pass back here. You know, we keep getting takeaways. We block a punt. This team just finds a way to win, so I love that about them.
Thanks so much, Coach.
Thank you. Go
guys.
All right, now they're 4-1 on the season, and since that goal line stand early in the third quarter, NC State outscored Duke 17-0. Don't forget our doubleheader next week. We started at noon at Louisville. The Noles and the Cards will kick it off, and then Virginia Tech and Wake Forest. That's at 3:30 in Winston-Salem. Once again, our final from here in Raleigh, 31-20 for James Bates and Lindsay Raleigh, and our outstanding production